Welcome once again, all Warhammers and Warhammies, to the best episode of Big M's Power Hour to date. I'm your host, Big M, along with my cohort, Cole of the Sea. How's it going today,
Hey,
Cole?
how we doing? Going pretty damn good.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty damn good.
Well, we had a little bit of a big month this month. Maybe
Yeah.
not so much with new exciting stuff, but
Nah.
we both had NashCon.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. Did NashCon. I did Summer Slaughter the weekend
yeah.
before that, like a full. Uh,
How was that back to back events there?
I didn't notice how much it was affecting me until this weekend here that we just had, where I didn't have an event. I was like walking around the house on Sunday, like, why am I here? This
I
is
was I was trying to make eggs and I was just rolling dice into them and
yeah, it was strange. No, like I'm honestly on the way home from NashCon, I was like, damn, I'm burnt. But then Saturday came and I was like, I could go to an event. It's all right.
in all honesty, I'm sure we'll get to it eventually. But like I said, we so slight spoilers for everyone, but we basically kind of came out neck and neck.
Yeah.
I was excited. Cole, not
A
so
little
much.
bit disappointed. It's okay. It's okay.
I mean that is going to be the roll of the dice, you know.
Yeah, I'm relearning the edition. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the big thing is I got to get out of the second edition mindset.
yeah, yeah. Get a real army.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, so let's go ahead and start off with a little bit of news. The biggest thing, I think, beyond everything else, is the release of Warhammer Plus.
yeah.
I subscribed. You said you didn't.
I have not. No.
What sort of questions do you think you might have?
One would be okay. This is kind of part of the whole Warhammer app system.
Hmm.
So I want a list builder and all that again.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That would
Well,
have helped me out a lot more if you didn't shut down the old one
yeah.
and then not give me a new one to go to. Had you done that, cool. We'd have been fine.
Well, they did say. I mean, so originally they said September.
Right. Right.
They haven't changed
Which
that yet, but they also
yeah.
said Stormcast release or pre-order in August. So,
And here we are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that I finally, because I got subscribed to the Warhammer Plus, I got my subscription to the Warhammer 40k building app, which I tried
Okay.
and immediately uninstalled like 30 seconds later.
Yeah, it's not good. I tried it whenever it first came out. I actually gave them some money to be like, okay, let's see. Finally we have a good GW official one, and I was sorely disappointed with it. Battle Scribe, thank you for existing.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. I mean, it's like I was sitting there just trying to make a simple Grey Knight build, and all I'm seeing is all the shit that I don't see because I'm not paying for, because I didn't buy the Battle Tome through them. And it's
right.
like, come on, GW. If you keep pulling at that teat, you're gonna get some blood. All right, you gotta you gotta let off a little bit here. You're
Yeah.
not.
Now,
No one is gonna go. You know what? I was really tempted to buy that Necron Codex, but since I can get the rules for free, no.
now, with them putting in the code inside new codexes
Right.
to unlock it in the app, in the future, I think it'll be better. Like my Space Marine Codex, I threw in my code. I had access to everything. That's fine. For people that don't have a code yet, and probably at this rate won't for at least a year to 2 years easily for a lot of those codexes, yeah, I can see that being painful.
Yeah, and like I said, that's one of the problems. Is like, if you haven't released a codex, let's maybe do that. And on top of that, like, let's also draw the line in the sand a little bit further down. A little bit further down, outside of wanting to see profiles.
Yeah,
Like, you can just hold back. I assume. I assume 40k has allegiance abilities.
in a way, yes, they do.
So
Yeah,
like, you can hide allegiance abilities. You can hide the command abilities. I forget what they're called in 40k, but
oh yeah, stratagems.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can hide the stratagems. Like, yes, we all know what superhuman does or whatever the heck it is, but
right.
like,
Yeah,
y- let me at least see the damn rules for the damn units that I'm putting a stupid list together for. I'm trying to figure out what crap of yours I'm going to buy.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you, like, I was literally going, like, okay, what I was, and again, I think a lot of people do this whenever they're doing their list building, is they're building a shopping list.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I don't know what I want to buy, I'm not just going to blind buy shit. So,
Yeah. Whenever you're not brand new to the hobby, you don't blind buy shit anymore.
Right.
Whenever you're first starting out, yeah, sure, you don't understand what good and what isn't or anything like that. But yeah,
right.
a lot of the time, GW needs to remember model company. Let me look at what rules are so that I can buy your models then.
Right, right. Well, again, I swear, I think that's one of the leading pushes to sales for AOS is, hey, look, I can go online, build an army, see what I like.
Yeah, do that for free. Yeah.
Right. I honestly do not think that the online builder has cost them any sales.
No, not at all.
I mean, I think the same people who decide that they're going to run a list without the battle tome from, AOS Reminders and Warscroll Builder are the same people who, if they didn't have those tools, were just going to download the battle tome somewhere else.
Right. Yeah.
It's the internet. You look hard enough, you can find it. Like,
Sadly, yeah.
well, so overall, my general opinions about Warhammer Plus, we'll see. A lot of the things that I was concerned about are absolutely there. The animations are fine.
Right.
They're fine. I during NashCon, I actually found like a half hour to take some time and watch the Yarrick episode that they put up for special preview. I thought the storytelling was great, and I thought all the talent involved with the voice acting was great. I thought the animation was not the greatest.
Well, yeah, it's their first shot at it too. I don't know what kind of timeline these guys have.
Well, it's not like Peachy and it's like Peachy was in the back animating. It was, I mean, they hired an animation company to do this.
It's true.
I mean, it's like I don't know. We'll see. I mean, so far, like I said, I watched the first episode of Angels of Blood, and that's really good. I think it's what it's called, the Blood Angels one.
Angels of Death, maybe.
Angels of Death. That's the one. Yeah. The Blood Angel one.
Yeah.
Now, the issues I do have is, so first off with the masterclass. I believe her name is Louise.
Oh,
I think it's Louise.
Jeez, now I got to look up the name. I don't remember.
She's great. She's an awesome host. She does really good. She's super talented. But one of the issues is exactly what I thought they were going to do, because back whenever GW came to Adepticon, we Chuck and I signed up for the painting class with Duncan, where we got to paint KO like 2 months before they came out.
Okay.
And cool. I asked him, I was like, do you use a wet palette? I was like, I know you don't use it for the videos, but like when you're home painting your own stuff, you use a wet palette. And he said, no, I don't, because we don't sell one, so I can't use one.
Right.
And so, suffice to say, Lois, the hostess.
Yes.
I apologize.
We're going to get that right for next time.
We'll get it there. I mean, again, Cole, you're lucky I remember your name.
That's fair. That's fair.
She does use a wet palette.
Yeah.
Now, again, so this is one of the issues I have is like, the first episode is faces.
Okay.
And so she's like, and I'm using a wet palette. It's like a palette, but wet, and it keeps my paints wet. And I'm like, you have to remember, like, I feel like going in the GW mindset and the GW world,
right?
You've literally gone from the 5-minute videos on YouTube and Facebook,
right? Where we're cranking them out, yeah,
right? Where like we're trying to keep in this insular Truman Show-esque world where, GW has sculpted the hobby, and you don't look outside of the GW bubble. So like
Right.
a lot of people. Now again, I think again talking about what we talked about Warhammer Plus last time, where you're really only going to have the most devoted people doing this.
No, yeah.
There's very few people at that level that don't know what a wet palette is.
Right. There's not too many curious people who are going to sign up for Warhammer Plus.
Right. Especially with no preview. I think if they would have had the first month free.
First month free. Here's the first season. Anybody can go find of one of these shows. Cool. First episode of a couple of the shows.
Right. Yeah, first week, 2 weeks free, whatever, something like that. But
Yeah,
I'm sure they probably will. They probably will whenever they actually have more content.
Right.
But
yeah, because if they had just put up for 1 week right now,
Yeah.
I feel like everyone would have ripped through it and been like, okay, cool, see you next month.
So as I said, so she doesn't talk about how to make a wet palette. She doesn't talk about brands to go to buy wet palettes.
Which
GW is not coming out with a wet palette.
So,
Exactly. And again, so it's not really an issue with the faces. Just because, again, a wet palette's really not that hard. Honestly, if you don't have a wet palette, you can easily just look up Tabletop Minions wet palette, and Uncle Adam does a great job of just showing you how to make one for free. Again, it's not as good as the professional ones, but you're not going for a golden demon. If you're watching this channel, you're not going for a golden demon. All right?
No, you're probably not. No.
Now the issue that where I did have is the next episode where she went into wet blending.
Okay.
What do you know about wet blending?
I know very little about wet blending. All I know is you put paint on wet, put more paint on wet in a hurry, and you try and just move them around and get them to mix a little bit in the middle there.
I mean,
That's about all I got.
You're not far off. So essentially, the primary methods are always revolving around using paint retardant that slows the acrylic drying process down. So like normally, like I said, you're fully aware, acrylic paint will dry fully in a minute.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
The paint retardant will have it be workable sometimes 10-15 minutes depending on how much you use.
Okay.
And so basically what it is, you just paint color A, color B, and then just, kind of like...
Right. Blend it.
Well, so GW doesn't make or paint retardant.
Right.
So there's another way that people use. You have to be super quick about it. It's called
Use a lot of water.
Oh yeah. So I mean, well, first off, you can't use too much water, or the pigment starts to break
Right. That doesn't do anything. Yeah.
So whenever you don't have that ability, it's called? I believe it's called the two brush method. Where basically you just have two brushes ready to go. One with color A, one with color B. Boom, 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 and then go. No, we're not doing that either. And I'm like, why wouldn't you at least do the two brush method? Now you're at least selling double the brushes. Like,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
But her methodology was just use water and go quick, fast. I'm like, that's
what I would have attempted.
Yeah.
I'm not a good painter, so
right.
That's my excuse.
Same here. But it's like, I feel like there's a certain point where if GW doesn't make it, you have to acknowledge other companies exist. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan.
Not much of one, no.
So many years ago, we're talking like 16, 18 years ago, I was on a wrestling podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Podcasts were just becoming a thing at this time, obviously.
Yes, we literally were getting in the door. And what was funny was we were actually really popular. We were getting like 2,000 unique views at our peak. And all over the world. Like we had Egypt and all this. I'm like, why is Egypt watching wrestling? But
okay, don't argue with it.
So one of the issues is, so everyone knows the WWE. Well, one of the issues with WWE is a little GW-ish because there's more to the wrestling world than WWE.
Mm.
But if you're watching a WWE show, they don't mention anything else. You're not allowed to bring it up. Don't talk about it. There's nothing, no such thing as AEW, no such thing as anything. No.
One
And
of
it's
those, I'm the biggest cat in the room, so I don't need to talk about anybody
right,
else.
right.
Yeah.
And so, like, GW's doing the same thing. Like, there would be nothing wrong with her saying, if you're having a hard time with this, you can look for a product called, you can look for paint retardant that helps dry it, but try it without first, and if you can't do it there, then look. You know, there's a way to, like, say, this exists.
Right.
You know, like, we don't need you to tell us about, you know, like, playmats or workspace,
Right.
you know, paper towels and stuff. Like, that's not...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just like it was almost like that one year they did the April Fool's joke and they had the Citadel Water or whatever it was. I
Oh,
was like,
yes. I remember that now.
I'm like,
Yes.
I feel like they're gauging right now. I don't think they're
Yeah.
joking.
You're like, did that hit? No. Okay. It was a joke,
I
guys.
don't
Yeah.
know. It was just a joke. We're just joking.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Mhm.
again, there's a certain point where, like, if you're trying to be a master class, and to me, master class says you're trying to get to the point where you can win an award.
Right.
You want your painting to win something. And if you're going to win something, you're going to need to go outside of the purview of GW.
Yeah.
You know, you
No,
might need to look at
agree.
enamels. You might need to look at microset and microsol. You might need to look at paint retardants. Like,
Mhm.
you might need to look at agitators. You might need to look at dropper bottles. Like,
Right.
I doubt there's anyone that's ever won a Golden Demon or was the other one, like Crystal City,
Crystal brush. Yeah.
Crystal Brush, with using just GW brushes, just GW products. Like,
Yeah.
no,
No. There's no way.
no. So that's going to be a huge limiter. And just like the other issue with the bat reps.
Mhm.
Nothing was bad with any of the armies. Like, all they did
Okay.
was tout everything that was good. And, like, it's like, no. Like, you can't... you have to be able to talk about the good and the bad.
Well, you don't really want to diss your own product while you're doing all that.
That's exactly the problem.
From what I had heard, the only problem I had heard people give about the battle reports is there are just so many other people with better production quality of a battle report right now.
Right. And on top of that, their first battle report was 1,000 points. Like...
Yeah. How long was it?
An
Out of
hour.
curiosity. An hour?
No.
Okay.
And it's like... That's kind of like the issue is it's like... What are you real? And again, I had the same issue with the battle reports. I've always had this issue with the battle reports in the White Dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, it's the exact same thing there. Oh, I got to play with all my amazing things, and everything was awesome, and everything was great. And like, okay, Lego, we already know the lyrics. All right, that's
Right.
You know, we need to know the shortcomings as well if we're going to actually plan anything.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see. The animations look good, but I subscribe for the full year. So if by next August, that was the other thing that was weird. It's like they said if you sign up now, you get a free month or something like that, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well then why is my sub being renewed next August? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Okay, so let's move on to the next piece of news here. Okay. Oh. Sorry, guys. Technical issue here.
Oh, jeez.
There we go.
Trying to pretend to be professional here. You're
All right,
messing it
let's
up.
see what do we got showing. Okay, so we have. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Huge Miniatures or not.
I have not.
So they have a lot of great basing stuff. Like that's kind of
Okay.
like their go-to here. It's a really small company, but the products they make are awesome. So you can go and check them out here.
Yeah, I'm pulling them up.
They're actually, yeah, look, they're stationed in Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, how
Cool.
many awesome companies are
State.
stateside? You know, like
Yeah,
that's.
stateside's a big one. Yep.
But so they're launching a Kickstarter with acrylic paint and washes. So they're going to have metallics. They're saying these are going to be a little thicker. So I'm interested to see how they play out. It looks like their intended goal is to have coverage in two coats, no matter what the color. So it might be. It sounds like they're trying to take on the white and yellow issues.
Some weathering powders I see on their website, flow
Yeah.
improver, and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm really looking forward to this. They're actually having dropper bottles with retardant and what all was the list? There was yeah. Here's all the colors we got. We got teals, light blues, medium blues, dark blues, purple blues, purples, pinks, whites.
Yeah. Lots of basing materials and stuff
boy.
too. Very cool company. Very cool.
I definitely want to check out the metallics. I'm a huge fan of metallics. Oh, here's a rose gold. I wouldn't mind trying that out.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of metallics. I'm a huge fan of washes. I'll probably try and take care of those. Let's see. There we go. Paint accessories. So they have slow dry, which is the retardant, flow improver, which is obviously good for airbrushing, and they also have a thinning medium to help you with getting everything all thinned out, so you can get your two thin coats.
Yeah.
So, like I said, give them a look. I mean, you can see. I know you can't see it, Cole, but the prices are very reasonable here. The natural tones, which looks like, was it 3, 6, 9, 10, 10 paints for $35. Here's 8 metallics for $28, 8 washes for $28, or you can get the whole thing for $147. $11.99 or $11 each for the each. That's not as good.
A little bit worse.
But they're 4-ounce bottles, so that makes sense. Yeah,
the
so
other
check them
paints are
out.
about $3.50 a pop, so it ain't bad.
Yeah, check them out. They're, like I said, somewhere local. They're trying their best. So, and if you don't want to do their Kickstarter, go check out their website, and we'll get that. Get them a little love here. All right,
Yeah.
sorry guys. Fiddling around a little bit too much today with all this stuff, so good thing the 20 people watching don't mind.
Yeah, I certainly hope not if they're taking the time to watch us.
Yeah, most people that are watching are doing a personal favor to me more than anything. All right, so the other interesting thing that I wanted to talk about that I was kind of excited about, just touch on it real quick. Chaos Gate Demon Hunters was announced. Well, they actually showed it off a little bit this week. Did you hear anything about this at all, Cole?
I didn't know.
So I saw it last month. I was like, "Oh, great! Here's another cash grab mobile app sort of thing." But no, it's
Yeah.
actually going to be a standalone game that you're going to get from Steam or something else like that. And it is it's Grey Knights. It's Grey Knights in a turn-based strategy. So
Okay.
I've already pre-ordered it. I'm
Yeah, I
hoping.
just pulled up the site. Looks very
Yeah,
interesting. At
I
least, yeah. Right now, the way that GW's been okay to just throw the IP to anybody with
Right.
half a brain to know how to make a video game, worried, but hey.
yeah, definitely. That's so. Like I said, we'll keep an eye out on this, and whenever it does come out, I'll make sure I let everyone know what I think about it. They said right now it's coming out early 2022, so that's what we have going on here. All right, so let's touch on Summer Slaughter.
Summer Slaughter. All right. So myself and our buddy Brad went out to Summer Slaughter. It's an event held by the Basement Wargamers. They're a group out Philly area, if you know where that is. Um, Great event. 5 rounds, 2,000 points. I think we had 98 players.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of players. I think we actually had more people there than the Orlando U.S. Open at the same time. Uh, yeah, so those two things were happening at the same time. So we had the entire venue to ourselves because they just said, screw the 40K players. You're all going to go down to Orlando anyway.
I mean, I
So
think
I
that's a
was
good
fine
rule
with
of
it.
thumb. I think that's a good.
I was just completely happy with it. Um, I didn't see too many softballs for gamers in that room. Everyone was pretty damn good. I only ended up going 2-3 there. It was my
Mhm.
first third edition event. I learned a lot during the event.
Yeah.
Um, Everything was really cool. Guys are running it real relaxed. I think entrance was $100, but for your $100, you got a catered lunch and all the beer you could drink. So it was hard for me to bitch about, to be fair. Not a great time. The only thing I would complain about that whole event was day one. There were 98 of us packed into a basement in the middle of August. It was a little hot. I was sweaty.
Now I
9 p.m.
now I
whenever the
heard
last
the
round ended, it was a
the
little rough.
AC was broke, right? Though, wasn't it?
I'm not entirely certain what was going on with the AC, if it was broken or couldn't keep up. I know day two, they were able to disperse us amongst two floors, and that solved the entire issue. Honestly, that's
Good.
all it took. So after that, it was fine. If the AC was broke, then shit, they got an even better excuse because we ended up being great the next day. Then
Yeah.
that I was drinking enough, I didn't care. One of the two.
Yeah. See, that's honestly the biggest concern I have because I want to try it out next year,
Yeah,
depending on what we end up doing with NashCon. Because unlike you guys, I don't think I could do two in a row.
yeah. Once I finished Summer Slaughter, especially as hot and sweaty as I was that weekend, I
Yeah.
sat there and went, "Boy, I'm scared for NashCon now." Thankfully, spoilers, it wasn't that
Yeah. Yeah.
bad.
Um, but yeah, $100 for since I don't really drink that much.
Right. It might not be worth it anywhere near as much to you. Catered lunch probably isn't
Yeah.
worth that much to you either. It's
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
lunches, but still.
Yeah. Now, if it was all you could drink soda,
Right. Agreed.
ooh,
It is only beer though.
watch out.
I agree. They should have been like bottled waters and beer
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sodas as well. And I think you'd have made a lot of people happy, especially since not everyone's 21 who plays this hobby.
Right.
So
Right. Right. Yeah, again, though, that is a good way to little gatekeeping. You know,
yeah, a little bit.
I mean, considering
So
this is
yeah,
the only one that would
right,
be hindering to people under 21,
right. And that's the
that's not the end of
only
the world.
and that's the only part of it that would be got little swag bag had tokens in it, a combat gauge. One of my dice sitting over there is from them. Uh,
Nice.
it's
Now,
great.
now I
I mean,
will say, if you're 19 and butthurt that you can't go and drink, start your own 20 and under tournament.
there you go.
Show them
Yeah,
what for. But
yeah.
yeah, so run me through a couple of your games.
A couple of games. Round one, I played against OCR Bone Reapers. I That was the first time I ever played against OCR Bone Reapers,
Oof.
and let me tell you, a group of Mortec Guard that are fully buffed up, game over them. Not
Yeah,
happening. I threw probably half my army into one crew and went, "Oh shit,
that.
I fucked up."
Yeah, they are insane.
Yeah,
I know, and what's funny is like I've I know a couple people that play OBR and have been kind of grumbling about third edition.
well,
And every time I've
their
played them, I'm like, I don't see what you're grumbling about.
their RDP was messed up from the edition change. I think the most recent FAQ might have fixed it for them.
Okay.
I need to go back through and double check it, but they did kind of mess up the army whenever we
I
jumped
th-
editions.
I thought I
But
saw an FAQ that said that they can use their RDP for all the standard
right, yeah,
stuff. So I don't know what more you want.
right. No, I think they were just a few other little things about it. I need to go back through and actually look. I don't play the army enough, so
Yeah, exactly.
obviously I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Well,
That was
yeah.
a very, very close game, thankfully. Uh, all my games ended up being close. I never scored less than 20 points all weekend, even though I only
Wow.
went 2-3.
Wow.
So it was hard to bitch about.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you end up winning, or did you?
I
Uh,
lost that game. I lost round one, round two. Round two was against Kadron Overlords running Gotrek. So I tried to outrun Gotrek and I couldn't. Eventually, just had to be near the middle of the board if I wanted to score points. And Gotrek
um.
said, "Well, I can be there."
So for the eel shock ability,
Yeah.
is that does that affect? Is that like one attack and you're doing X number of mortal wounds, or is it? Um,
So it's once per game. At the
right.
start of the combat phase, you roll a dice per eel.
Right.
And on a 3+, you do a mortal wound. On a
Okay.
6, you do D3 mortal wounds.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you roll all the dice and that counts as a giant number. Like, oh, I rolled.
Oh no, it would be 3 singular ones, or
Okay.
the one that's a D3 you'd be rather sad about. But other
Yeah.
than that, yeah, it'd be a possibility of doing like 3 mortal wounds from a 3 pack of eels.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean that's.
It helps, but
Let me
at the
let
end
me
of the day,
let
go
me
ahead.
ask. What do you think? Honestly, I feel like they could fix Gotrek if they just got rid of the reduce damage to one ability.
Maybe. The more I keep playing against Gotrek, the less I'm getting worried about him.
That's good.
There are games where he dominates. The less objectives you have on the table, the more he
Yeah.
dominates. Which obviously a slow single model. Um, Actually, at this point, I'm kind of happy to see a Marathi in the bow snakes plus Gotrek list, because I just kill the bow snakes, tie up Marathi for 3 turns, because I probably won't be able to kill her in two. It'll take
Throw
3.
some Aether Wings into her.
I actually throw defense seals into her, and I throw defense seals in everything. That's my whole uh,
That's just
Ishman
stupid,
guard.
man.
That's my
That's
whole thing. Just that's what I did for what was it, round 3 at Summer Slaughter. Throw 3 fully buffed up Ishman guard into Archeon, 2 up unrendable.
oh
We're
man,
staying. We're
man.
chilling, man.
OBR, then Gotrek, then Archeon. Wow, that's a
Yeah, no,
lineup.
that's yeah, that was my lineup,
So you
and
had to win.
then
You had to have won one of those matches because you
I
only.
won round 3 against Archeon.
Wow.
Yep. Uh, Round 4, I'm struggling. Oh, I played against Ryan, one of the guys who plays down in Pittsburgh with us,
Yeah.
and his Zeech.
Okay.
Yeah, so also not a softball. And then round 5, I played against. She goes by, I think, Little Marathi on
Oh,
Twitter.
okay.
Yeah, so that was also not a softball of a game, and that was my
Yeah.
final win of the weekend. So
Wow, you actually beat her.
yeah, I did. It was very close.
Wow.
Um, Actually, I think all it actually came down to was she had used a spell to turn, I forget which caster it was, into a monster at the end of the game to try to
Uh,
score one of the secondaries, one of
yeah.
the battle tactics.
You took
And,
advantage.
well, yeah, I chose bring it down that turn, turned the turtle around, and went, go get it. And I got a couple extra points because of it.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah,
Yeah, I
it
know.
helped that I was nearly tabled too by that point. So.
I know she was at ACO and she did amazing
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, she was 4-1 with me at ACO. So like I realized too I was across from, went, shit, it's gonna be a rough one.
Yeah, and she was actually just on.
On coaches.
Yeah, she was on Coach's
Yeah.
program about daughters.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do seeing someone talk about daughters and Chuck wasn't there, but that was
Yeah, I know, it's quite odd, but no, she great player. That was a fun game too. So I mean, I enjoyed all my games down there. It was a great time. Everyone was cool. And I think by round 5, especially where she and I were, we were just like, fuck it. Who cares at this point?
um. So going to NashCon, what are some of your thoughts on NashCon then?
NashCon I really enjoyed. It wasn't anywhere near sweaty, but we were also like 30 less people
Yeah,
than
and we were in a fully air
SummerSlam.
conditioned hotel. So
Beautiful, fully air conditioned hotel. The venue was great.
yeah,
That There was no catered lunch, but that's okay. A lot less beer. That's okay. No, I really enjoyed it. The two list format I kind of enjoyed as well. That whole idea of, okay, I can play list A, which is my normal, okay, I'm going to try and fight you list. Or I could play list B, which is the one thing that counters what I hate.
Yeah.
You try and set yourself up for something like that. It's an idea. I didn't do that. I just don't have the Deepkin collection at this point to be able to do so.
Well,
But I can
why don't you
see
go
that.
over kind of the overline with your what list you went with and why?
So what list I went with and why was essentially I had the models for it. It's very minimal change. I either ran 2 units of defense seals or I ran more Sarguard attack heals,
Yeah.
either Ishland. That's basically what I did. It was as simple as that.
Yeah.
If I were to set myself up differently now, I might actually run like a Gotrek list as one of them
Okay.
and one non Gotrek list, just to depend on my matchup.
See, I thought you were going to say, the all attack eel list or my all turtle list, whichever.
If I had multiple turtles, there would probably be a two turtle list in there.
Tell you, man, anything less than 4, it's just not right.
Yeah.
And you could paint each one of them up to be one of the Ninja Turtles. Do one blue, one
Oh,
yellow, one
jeez.
orange.
I've got one reddish orange here. Son
So
of a
there you go.
bitch. Mm, nah, it's not happening. I'm not a Giants player. You can't convince me that easy.
Yeah, so for me, I took my Giants. My first list was my standard one where I brought one of each of the big 3 guys and then 3 of the littles. And then for my list B, I dropped my Gate Crasher and 1 Gargant for Kragnos. Spoilers, he did not.
Did not
No.
perform like you were hoping.
I mean, again, so my same complaint I have about him is the same complaint I have about the Giants is without a ward save, it's just so squishy. So squishy, especially considering that he breaks the 700 point barrier
Yeah.
and he only has 18 wounds and his whole job is to get into the shit. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm going to get into the shit, but I'm just going to take wounds left and right and be done turn 1. So, like I said, I haven't played with him that much. I really didn't get to play with him as much as I wanted. You and I had a practice game where the game was over before he really got to do anything. Where, we did a little bit of a let Matt have his fun, and you let me charge him in and see what would happen, and it did pretty good there.
Some stuff, yeah. And
But
then
again,
I charged back, yeah.
right, exactly. That's kind of the main problem is after that turn, like even if I removed your turtle, now he's in the middle of the field, and you just bring whatever you want to get him, and he's gone.
Right.
2 up by itself doesn't really do too much.
No.
Now, I did learn the value of having a ward save on my gate.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
That was very nice.
Good.
I can't remember. I swear I read a rule somewhere, and then I think someone told me no, that it wasn't right, where you could take multiple of this. Like I could take multiple amulets.
No, I don't believe you can take multiple
Okay.
amulets. Yeah.
Uh,
No, there'd be a bunch of people taking like 3 amulets right now.
well, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, a 5-up ward save is really only so good.
Yeah.
I mean,
However, in your Giants,
right.
it feels
Well,
quite nice. Yeah.
yeah, like I said, I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, with the way things are looking, I would essentially be able to get 2 more.
Too. Yeah.
And, okay. So, now it would be pretty, I think it might be a little overpowered on my Kraken Eater sitting there at 40 wounds.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
But that is only 5 extra wounds. And I don't roll that well, so I should be allowed.
Mathematically, sure.
There should be an exception where I get to do it because I'm going to roll those ones anyways. It doesn't matter.
There you go.
But that was one thing with my games is I was trying to, because again, you and I both know that for whatever reason, my dice really likes them 1, 2s, and 3s. They
You
just
can't roll dice to save your damn life. That's how it is. I mean,
and again, like I said, whenever it's between friends, who cares? You know, it doesn't
Right,
matter if
exactly.
it doesn't
During
matter.
those games, you
It
never pay
doesn't
attention.
matter. Well, so whenever I'm playing you, I have no problem going these damn dice and like launching them across the room. You know,
Right.
that's not a
Yeah.
problem. But like, you don't want to say that whenever you're against someone you don't know.
No, I get that.
So I was doing very good.
Mhm.
I was behaving very well, and I wasn't complaining about dice. Wasn't saying anything about this, anything about that. But every person I played was like, "Damn, dude, those rolls," and that's where I was having the hard time. I was like, "Oh no,
Boy.
don't bitch about your rolls." But they're bringing
Uh,
up my bad rolls. What do I do?
yeah, man, it is what it is. It happens. That's all. Uh, yeah, no. Even only going 2-3 and all that, I think I ended up with 4 best sports or Nash coins, so I was happy with that too. Even though I was getting my teeth kicked in, I was making people happy about it while I was doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot to ask how many I got. So I know of one that I got.
There you go.
Um,
That's big.
yeah,
Even one's good.
yeah. Well, it was my match against Southern Neil. Uh,
Oh, yes. He seriously is Southern Neil.
I'll
I'll
tell
tell
you,
you
man.
what.
So let's kind of go into our games. How was your game one?
Game one was great. I think I got my first softball of all third edition. I hate to say it. Great dude. His name's Clay, down in the Atlanta area, playing Beast Claw. Um, Kind of just put a piece of bait out in the middle of the board. He came charging for it, and I came and killed him. I think I had him tabled. And the bottom of 3.
Yeah,
Cool dude, though. Took it all with a fucking smile,
yeah,
awesome time. So I can't complain.
great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember you were already kind of walking around pretty early on that one. And I was like,
Yeah, no, that was a fast one. Both of us were low model count armies that wanted to do close combat, and we did it, and we got it over with.
yeah. My first army, I felt real bad because
Mhm.
the night before you and I got a game in, and um,
You were
Brad and
bad
I
gun
got a
game.
game in, and so we played. I played the only other Bone Splitter player on the table that Brad and I played on, in the mission Brad and I played on,
Hmm.
and on top of that, his list was less optimized than Brad's,
Yeah.
and he was borrowing it from a friend.
Oh, I didn't even know that bit. Okay.
So
Jeez.
I
Steps to success.
oh yeah, I mean it was so funny. Like so I learned how. So he didn't have any big stabbas,
Right.
and I was like, okay, so that's
A big
massive for
hurdle
me,
gone.
right?
Yeah.
Because again, honestly, like whenever Brad and I played, I was wiping them off the table
Mhm. And
until
then a
I
unit 2 big stabbers and come in, and you'd be like, oh shit.
right, and I was like, haha, I killed them. Oh no, they still kill me.
Right. Yeah.
So I didn't have those, and then his big like hammer was the Boar Riders.
Okay.
So what I did was I knew that they only had like a 2-inch reach,
Hmm.
and so what I did was I put a Man Crusher right next to each of the megas, so
Yeah.
I knew that the megas would be able to reach them, and they wouldn't be able to reach the megas, and
Oh,
it worked
jeez.
perfectly.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, so I basically cleaned up shop and I tabled him round 3. Um, Honestly, I was kind of expecting him at some point to call it,
Mhm.
but he stuck it through to the very end.
I
And same
saw, yeah.
same
He
thing
was,
as your guy, smile on his
yeah.
face the whole time. I felt there's times where I felt bad, but I was like, it's not a domination. Like a lot of my guys are
Mhm.
really hurting. Um, so it's not like it's a one-sided match. It's just when he does damage to me, I just turn a die, whereas I do damage to him, he takes shit off the table.
Right.
There's a couple times where he forgot that I roared shit,
Mm.
and so he's like, defense, like he can't do that. And
Yeah.
that was one of the benefits I had, is I was able to apply pressure to 2 of his big units.
Right. Yeah, you can't take them on one at a time. You got to do both.
Well, so the benefit of that was he could only battle immune 1.
Right.
So it's like, okay, you don't have to do battle immunity over there, but you still have to roll for the 15 losses you have over here. And,
Oh shit. Yeah.
how was your round two?
Round two was a very close game. I played against Basil, who ended up playing against Tom Lyons. Round five, table one, for to see who won the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
He's another very cool dude. Game was very close up and until round four. I think we both were like, I think I'm in it. And then his round four of shooting just wiped my ass. Let me tell you what. I'm like, I'm in it. And then you had this one amazing shot with either Bastillodon or a unit of salamanders. And I went, oh no, I'm done. That was the end of it. Okay. But no, he's a cool guy, and it was a great game.
Yeah. Yeah. My round two was also against Seraphon. He brought a bunch of monsters and Croak, so I was like, okay, I'll bring out Kragnos, and just every priority roll went against me, man.
Mhm.
I lost for so I knew I was going to lose immediately. Whenever we got there, we set up. I started pulling my stuff out, and he goes, "Okay, let's roll, roll for priority." So I rolled, and he went, "I want that table side." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, game over." I
Yeah, if you're worried enough about tableside, I'm going to be screwed here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but yeah, just he was able to do, I forget what it was. It was like 7 or 8 D3 mortal wounds to Kragnos before the end of the hero phase.
Sounds about right.
Um,
That was my downfall against both my Seraphon players. It's just all the little chip mortal wounds. Ugh.
yeah. So the problem is prior to playing here, my only Seraphon experience was Dave, and I'm like, this isn't so bad. Now I'm
Sorry,
like,
Dave. We love you.
oh, Pshaw, he's in Ohio. He can't hear that. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Bolters, Terminators. There, now he's
There we go. We got rid of him now. All right, better.
False Emperor. Eye of Terror. There we go. Yeah, going into it, I was like, well, Seraphon's not that bad. They're sure it's an optimized list, but whatever. And like now, I'm like, how did that go to print? Like, I want to be superior at the magic phase, the movement phase, the shooting phase, and the melee phase, and I'm also going to summon shit. Like,
Yeah, that summoning bit. Oof.
thankfully, his list was not focused too heavily on summoning. But he was beating my butt so hard that he was going to summon something, and it was too much of a pain trying to figure out where to put it, so he just didn't.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, he tabled me turn two, I think it was.
Okay.
Or it was so quick that it was turn three, but either way, it was a very
But you
quick
didn't
game.
notice. Yeah.
What was turn three?
Game three was against Dan. I think he's from somewhere up north in the Midwest area. He was running a Zinchen Archeon list. We were playing the Vice, and I think this might have been Dan's first 2-day event out somewhere. Because whenever we walked up, I could tell he was kind of beat from having just played 2 games of Warhammer. So I think that kind of worked against him this whole game, but we got him through it, made the whole way through 3 games in one day.
Yeah.
Um, he did, in my mind, make a small blunder overextending Archeon, which is how I was able to win. He had
Just
a
keep fighting
bad,
Archeon, man. That's
yeah, yeah. He had a bad round of magic on his turn two, and so whenever I took top of three, the big turn, I just threw the entirety of my army into Archeon, and what was it? I think I called either Slay the Warlord or no, it was Bring It Down, because that was his Warlord. So got the kill off with the turtle for the extra point. So it was pretty big swing from there. Game was kind of over after I got Archeon. There was just scraps left afterwards.
yeah. So for mine, I fought. I believe you fought him in round five. The other IDK player.
Yeah, Joe. I think his Twitter handles is 3's R2D2, which I love because it's more Sargard attack profile. It's just great.
um, so I just took one look at the list, and once again, I'm like, "Yep, ain't gonna
Yeah.
happen. Ain't gonna happen." Um, because I know against your turtle, or no, I didn't play my giants against your turtle. I played against. Oh crap! Sorry, I can't remember his name. Steve or Paul at Partners for War or Partners at War.
Oh,
I fought his army at ACO, and it took two giants to take down one turtle, and it was not like, it was like I won the battle, but what about the war? And it's like, nope, lost
right.
that too. Like,
Yeah, no. And
so
here came Joe rocking two turtles.
two
Yeah.
turtles and Gotrek.
Yeah, I know. I played against that same list. Oof. Round 5. Spoilers, I lost that one. Yeah, it was rough.
I killed Gotrek, so I got a moral victory.
Good, good.
But again, I mean, he's such an awesome guy. I don't know how you can have a bad match.
I agree. He's
Like,
cool.
it's like he was kicking my ass and I was thanking him for it. Like, I was kind of hoping that, and again, it was a stupid hope, but I was hoping that he didn't realize that he wasn't thinking about the vice being in the middle at the end, because I was slowly like working my way of getting my Kraken Eater over there,
To
because
the
he was
center.
focusing he was focusing the turtles, both turtles and Gotrek, on the two megas I had at the bottom.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I was hoping I could sneak around from the top, but then he like just lumped his
Turned
whole army in the
around.
middle
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
wiped the Kraken Eater off the table. It's like, cool, cool. I didn't have
All
any
right.
plans.
It's a good idea. Good idea. Yep.
So round 4.
Round 4, I played against another Seraphon player.
Good.
Um, I apologize. I can't remember his name right now. I know he lives down in the Atlanta area, works at one of the major game stores down there. If you know who you are, go ahead and let me know down here in the comments something. Another cool dude. He was playing Thunder Lizards, which I didn't realize just how brutal saying -1 to the amount of damage I take
Oh my
is,
gosh.
especially on my damage 2 weapons. It was just, oh shit.
I
I
mean,
don't know what I'm gonna do here. The
it
only
just
thing with, oof,
it shut my sons down.
yeah, he shut me down pretty good too. I think I was able to make a game of it for 2 turns, and then by the end of turn 3, it was one of those. Okay, I don't really have any pieces left here. I'm not really playing the game anymore. You're gonna just table me, and basically what it ended up being. I mean,
Yeah.
cool dude. I had a great time, but I took a beating.
um, I know you came by and watched my round 4. It
Yep.
was it was by far my favorite match. Again,
Hmm.
I love all of my opponents equally. However, there is a first among equals, and that's my Horus. Um,
Damn.
again, I so I whenever it comes to my opponents, I half of it is me forgetting names, and the other half is I don't know if you want me to bring you up on the internet or not. So
Fair
um,
enough.
I refer to my opponent lovingly as Southern Neil, because he kept his head smooth, his chin fuzzy. He was playing KO. As he moved his KO, he made putt putt noises. He also talked about playing corn, and then also forgetting about tactics and just getting a little bit of the blood rage. I mean, like, he even sounded like Neil.
Oh,
Like, I was looking
damn.
down at my cards and he was talking, and I was like,
Remember, this isn't Neil.
right.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. But again, same attitude, same personality. So, like, again, tremendous match. And one of the best things I liked about the matches, I felt like if we would have played the same matchup 10 times, I feel like we would have came out 5-5. Like,
Awesome. That's great.
um, the terrain, and he says this
Oh,
is not necessarily my opinion, but he stated that the terrain favored him greatly. I won't disagree. I'll say, the game is the way the game is, and that's all there is to it. But
okay.
if this is the battlefield here, there is like a little, like a castle gate, like up in this corner, and we're doing, what was the name of that ability, or the name of the battle plan?
It's a good question.
It's the one with it's 3 points, one corner down, boom, and one's the
Yeah.
vantage point. Uh, So the point's up here, right next to the castle gate. Um, I go first. So we rolled off priority. He was able to drop first, get everything down, and then he made me go first, which I really didn't want to do. But so I go up, capture that point with the Kraken Eater, and basically my goal was to get up there with the Kraken Eater, kick that point down, and then just hold the middle. Hold the middle and extend to try and hold the side. Because then that way he has to come out and I can get a hold of him then with a 12-inch move, you know? Or with the Megas being, or the Man Crushers being able to run and charge. I was like, okay, if I can get him out in the open, I can get him and kill him. Well, that's not what happened. So I go first. I go up there, and then he's able. There's just enough room behind that castle wall that he can get a gun hauler, the ironclad filled with Arcanauts, and then 2 blocks of 6 Endrin Riggers and the Endrin Master with dirigible suit.
It's like half to a 3/4 of the army sitting there.
It was like 3/5. Yeah. Because again, all he had left was a 20 block of Arcanauts and a 10 block of Arcanauts. That was everything else. And I don't know how. I mean, I called in the beginning of the shooting phase. I called all out defense, and he survived.
There you go.
He brought his engine riggers in, and I don't know, man. I feel a little shitty. Like he was trying to bring in more than I thought he could. And like with how close I was to dying, I kind of wanted to like play a little closer to the rules than, because normally I'm like, hey man, if you think that's right, go for it. But here I was like, I think you're a little off on that one. And he didn't push back. He didn't fight me at all. He didn't give me a grimace or anything like that. He just ran with it. And like I said, it goes against my nature to be that kind of gamey. But
no, it does. Didn't matter in the end, does it?
Right. I mean, he won. So
yeah.
But all I needed was to win that priority, and we had a different game. Yeah. Because again, I was going to kick out the objective, and it didn't matter. Didn't matter. It didn't matter if he lived or died, because the rest of my army was in the middle. He spell and a bottled me, top or bottom of turn 1 with the Skaven thingy.
Oh yes, the lightning. Yeah.
He had his own custom made like electrodes sort of thing, and those were super awesome looking. And yeah, man, like the entire combat was me just going up there to like hold things off. But he won priority, so then in his shooting phase, he was from 40, he was down to I think like 14. And I was like, I know there's nothing he could do at that point. I shouted out all out defense again and hope for the best, and I just couldn't do it. So I basically held out until 3rd round, where that was the point that I destroyed because I had the other 2.
Right.
And I almost had it on points. I was basically winning on points that whole time until he dropped the gate wrecker or gate crasher. Then it fell apart.
There was nothing left. Yep.
He eventually brought the ironclad out to fight my the other one, the war stomper. But man, my dice just died. Like, I hate, again, like I said, I hate to blame dice. But whenever I'm sitting there rolling 10 dice and I get 8 ones.
Yeah.
And again, whenever your opponent goes, what the hell is that? You're like, I agree with your sentiments. That's but yeah, unfortunately, I was like, okay, we're here to play. He's got really, the War Stomper has really good rend. He had all those guys on the boat, so I was sitting there at max attacks. Like, I got this. I didn't get a single one of his club attacks off. Jump up and down basically did nothing, and I missed the death grab. So it's like, and then he just shot him to shit.
Mm, yeah.
But it was a well-earned victory. He did great. Uh, play him at any time, anywhere, anytime.
There
Have
you
him.
go. Good. Good. That's how game should be.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it was great just being on someone of even footing. Like, because I feel like a lot of the issues I have with these tournaments, like the only real complaint about tournaments is I always feel like I'm either fighting someone well above me or well beneath me,
Right.
and that's not how I want to win or lose.
Hmm.
I'd rather, like I said, lose like this by the skin of my teeth, you know.
Right. Yep. Agreed. Agreed.
And then, of course, we had a fun time going into our fifth round. So I I hope that it'll be better by next year. But there's a Jack in the Box just at the bottom of the hill of the hotel. We went there and it
Oh,
took us 45, 50 minutes to get our meal.
yep.
We literally like went up to this, run up to the room. Everything was already packed. We grab our shit, threw it in the car. We're packed. Let's go get something to eat. We'll pick up something for Brad and go.
Yep.
And so we're sitting there. I'm trying to keep Cole calm. Cole's swearing under his breath
Yeah.
and above his breath. So we call Brad and we're like, "Hey, Brad,
I
tell
understand you're on table two right now, but
right. You need to tell Dave, the TO for NashCon, like you need to tell Dave that we are coming." And he's like, "All right." And then like I heard him tell someone, "Tell Dave that they're coming." And then he hung up on us.
great. Yep.
So whenever we get there, Dave is just starting to drop us. And I was like, "No, no, no, we're here, we're here." And he's like, "Oh, thank God, no one told me." I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know about. Why don't you go into your game? Because
I played against. I think I've been calling him Joe. I think his name's actually John. The Deepkin player you had around two or three. Uh,
yeah, the better IDK player.
right. Yeah, the better IDK players. It turned out we were playing for best IDK at NashCon, which is pretty cool. I got my ass handed to me. We kind of just played a very gentlemanly turn one, where basically nothing happened. Turn two, I think we each took a unit, and I got really lucky and put like 6 wounds on a Gotrek, which awesome.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and then turn three rolled for priority, and he won, which meant he was going to go first everywhere, and I was not. And so we shook hands
I'll tell you,
because
man.
it was one
Like
of those points. We went, well, that was cool, dude. Fun, awesome, have fun.
that is such a brutal ability.
It is. It
I just
is.
I don't even know how to combat it.
You stay as far the f away from me as
But that's the
possible,
middle of the damn game. Like,
or you run me over in turns one and two.
yeah. Again,
There's no.
yeah, man. Again, even if that ability was on turn one or turn two, that's a different story. Turn three,
Yep. Nope. It's one of those things. We just sat there. We went, well, you got it. Both those turtles. Yep. They're both going to be in range. Okay. Gotrek can make charges. Yep. Okay. I'll have maybe a third of my army left after this on my turn three. Yeah. Okay, dude. Good game. Yeah. I mean, it
um,
was cool. There's nothing could have really been done had I won priority. Probably just turns the other direction. But that's how our two armies play.
yeah.
We don't have much in the way of defense, and whenever you get to roll the dice, to go, cool, good game.
Yeah, I felt horrible for my game. So I finally found where I was. I was playing against a Soulblight player who brought a really weird list I hadn't seen before. It was Manfred, Prince, whatever his face is on the zombie dragon, 2 units of, I want to say five, no, 2 units of, no, 2 units of five Blood Knights, some Vargeist, some Wargs, and that was basically it. Um, but I felt so bad because I was sitting there, I was trying to hurry, I was so flustered trying to get everything set up. I didn't even read the battle plan prior to, because I was planning on
Nice.
reading it while
Having
I
some
ate.
time, yeah, yeah.
But it was the one where we have where you had three abilities or three objectives on your side, three objectives on your opponent's side, and then you get points for burning them after so many rounds. Well, unfortunately, everything was in my favor on this match. So the first thing he did was I basically set up my three megas on one side, my three minis on the other side, and I was like, okay, so he's either going to see the the three smaller ones on the one side, and he's going to, because he set up here. He set up here, so I set up all my big stuff here, and then the little guys here. So I'm like, okay, so he's either going to summon stuff. Hi, Jamie.
So, yeah, Jamie just popped in. Sorry about the extra noise.
You're fine. He's either going to have to spend a couple turns moving his entire army around here to go after my weak point, or he's going to have to spend time summoning.
Right.
And he didn't really get to do either, so he brought his Blood Knights down into my Kraken Eater on his one flank where there was nothing on the other side.
Right.
He did significant damage. He didn't bracket him yet. It was close. But then whenever it came to my turn, the first thing I did was try and stuff him in me net. I rolled the 3, so I got to pick.
Yeah.
I got to pick 3. Missed the first one. Missed the second one. Got the third one. He had him literally
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and had his leader in the middle. So I pick up the leader in the middle, and then I whiff on all my attacks. I think I did like 2 damage. So
Oh boy. Jeez.
so then, because I rolled 1, 6, it was 1, 2, 3, gone. And he, I think I spooked him a little bit because he basically kept the Blood Knights back and kind of didn't really do anything with them at that point. I don't know why I didn't maybe try and rally them or something.
Right.
Again, I think he might have been exhausted and just fatigued from the weekend. And then shocked, no, my Blood Knights don't go away.
Yeah.
But then he brought the prince in, and then what I ended up doing is I had my Kraken Eater and War Stomper on the prince, and I think I brought over a mini as well, a man crusher.
Nice. Okay.
So the 3-on-1 was pretty easy. I sent my War Gate Wrecker all the way across to his point.
Okay.
So turn 2, I'm already capturing that point. He had
Nice.
the Vargeist there, which I didn't get a chance to read their War Scroll. I knew they were scary, but thankfully, again, the Gate Stomper or the Gate Wrecker is the one that has the amulet.
Right.
I made
So it helped a
so
lot.
many ward saves,
Nice.
and if I would have sent anyone else there that didn't have a ward save, it would have been a nightmare.
Been just ripped up. Yeah.
So then I was able to kill 3 of the 6 Vargeist,
There you go.
and once again he got spooked and just let me have the point.
Okay.
So then we got into turn 3 where I got the priority, and so I went pop, 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 pop. Or no, he took priority. And I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? Because he only had one objective at that point that he'd been sitting on for 3 rounds.
So you were gonna pop it. Yeah.
And I'm like, are you sure? And he said, yes. So I'm like, okay, pop that one. And then he was like, okay, game over. And I was like, we can play out if you want. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You
so
asshole.
honestly, well, that's what I felt really bad about. Is
Right.
we were both really friendly. I asked him, I was like, hey, look, I'm really, I know I'm really late. I'm really sorry about that. I'm willing to offer you, if you want to take a triumph, that's fine. I have no problem.
Something. Yeah.
And he said, no, that's fine. And then as soon as I picked up the Blood Knight, it was like, I was like, oh no. But, I mean, he was a fine opponent. Like I said, we didn't really get to talk as much as I normally like to, but it was an interesting. Like I said, it was a very interesting build for Soul Blight. I think there's a lot of gas, for the amount of Vargeist that I don't see on the table. I'm
Right.
surprised.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
they're damn strong. They might. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, who knows? They might be 350 points and not worth it. But you know,
Right.
from what I saw,
It's quite scary.
yeah. But of course, like we said before, Tom Lyons ended up winning with his
Yep.
KO list,
Yep.
and so everyone's giving him a hard time that he's no longer allowed to say that KO isn't good.
Right.
He also won Best Painted,
Yeah, he did.
which he earned.
Yeah. He did.
I don't know. I ended up voting for him for Best Painted, so
I forget who I even voted for at this point. I
Oh,
don't think
you're
I voted
supposed
for
to
Tom.
say.
Sorry, Tom. Nah, yeah, sorry. I messed that up.
you saw how much time I put into those Gargans.
Yeah, I know.
That's enough.
sorry.
And I so mad I forgot the one thing I wanted to do, because the skin on my Man Crushers looked terrible. So I went back and I touched them all up, and I put a little blood, like war paint on that looked like blood, but it's fine. Like they
Yeah.
actually look good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to do the stitching on my
Oh, yeah.
gate wrecker, and I just forgot about it entirely till I put them on the table. I'm like, not even game one, game two. I'm sitting
Yeah.
there going, son of a bitch.
Oh, man.
Oh, now one thing I do want to talk about there is before we, well, no, we'll continue on. We'll get to it in a minute. So then, our cohort,
Yep, our buddy Brad showing up with them Bowden splitters.
our Johnny before the match, who becomes a Timmy during the match until he loses and then becomes a Spike.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Until he starts losing, becomes a Spike. Brad sitting there at table 2 against my Seraphon player.
Having found out that he was coming down the Thursday before the event.
I know.
And deciding, hey, you guys are going down. Can I bum a ride? Sure, buddy.
Well, that's the thing, is like he was like, he was so sure that his
His list was bad.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you've literally one of the best lists in the damn game right now. Like, it is not only is it a solid list where you have a
Right. You just can't kill it. That's
you
the problem.
have elite hordes. Like,
Yeah.
that would be like if I was able to field 60 Hearthguard Berserkers. Like,
There you go. Yeah.
but yeah, like he was fighting the guy that brought the Seraphon that I played against,
Yeah.
which was really funny because like his Seraphon list kicked my butt,
Mm-hmm.
but I think Brad was having a harder time with him than I was against Brad. It's like a weird Pokemon starter thing going
yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brad ended up coming in second, got best general
Yeah.
for destruction. Somehow stole it right out from underneath me.
Oh, yeah. Just right underneath you. Definitely.
I mean, you know, it wasn't like I think there was 2 other Suns players that were higher than me.
Probably.
But
There weren't too many Suns players there, actually, compared to Summer Slaughter, I noticed. I think Summer Slaughter, we had like 10.
well, again,
We
I
also
think
had
at the end of the
same
day,
number
I
of
think
contracts.
I think the monster hype is starting to settle a little bit,
No, I agree.
because people were seeing the benefits of having monsters and just going like, oh, I have to have a whole monster army. And it's like, at the end of the day, Suns are good, but
And if the meta's all monsters, people just take things that kill monsters.
right. And that's the problem. It's like you're still looking at a 6 army or 6 model list, and
Right.
if you're a really smart competitor, if you're an AOS coach, you can do well, you know. But if you're a bum like me, you can just have fun. That's
Hey, as long as you had fun, that was a very
Yeah.
fun event.
well, like I said, my goal after ACO going 1 and 4, my goal is to go 2 and 3.
You did?
Which I got 2 and 3. So now my next goal is to get above 500.
Okay.
And I think, like, because we were what? Both
not
you and I were
unreasonable.
only 3 or 4 away from the top half.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not like it's. And again, I think the competition at NashCon was cutthroat, man.
It's pretty good.
I mean, you had some big names. Whenever I recognize people at the top tables, you know it's, it's some big
Yeah.
names. But like I said, I think maybe I don't know if I'll necessarily I'll make it to the top half in the next tournament, but that's just the next goal that I'm going to work towards.
Good thing to strive for. I need to get back to the top half. So far, I've got two threes under my belt.
We'll get there.
Look for that 3-2 now. We'll get back there.
Well,
It's okay.
so we'll let the public in on this, but Cole and I have a wager.
Oh, geez, here we
We
go.
have a wager for LVO. So whoever places higher, the person that wages lower has to buy the winner one box for his army. And I don't know how we want to do it, but I don't.
We'll figure it out.
I'm not too worried
We'll
about
hash
the
that out
specifics.
later.
Like I said, I'm gonna have. We're both gonna be in the situation where neither one of us need anything, so it doesn't matter. Like,
No, no. Just have to figure out how I'm going to transport an army down there. A little bit of a haul. These guys,
I don't know.
fiddly.
I think what
break.
you need to do is you just need to have Jamie drive down ahead of us.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how big of a favor you think I can call it, but sure.
Just tell her that you don't think she could do it, and
She might actually try that now.
especially if you're like, not only can you not do it, but there's no way you could do it in 3 days. Like,
Jeez.
that
No.
engine would be redlining for 2 days straight.
Just got the car. I don't need her to be destroying it.
Yeah. So again, I still have Holy Havoc between now and then, but that LVO is my next competitive event.
Yeah, I'm on
Fierce
the wait
competitive.
list for Du Bois, and I might try to find something else, but so many events right now are packed to the gills and waitlist only. So,
Well, like I said, we'll have our monthly affair at Fabricated Forge, and
I'm going to miss that next one, sadly. But yeah, no.
So one thing that we didn't really talk about that I wanted to bring up, I don't know how many pictures you took of tables and whatnot.
I took a couple and threw them up on Twitter.
Okay.
Really cool table.
I'll check out your Twitter, and if there's any pictures that I have that you don't, I'll send them over your way so you can upload them. But guys, so I knew that we knew a gentleman named Anthony that was helping David run NashCon, but I didn't know it was the 3D printer Anthony. Like I knew that this was an Anthony that I knew, and I knew that there was a 3D printer guy named Anthony. I didn't realize it was the same guy. Mm-hmm. So the terrain at NashCon is insane.
Terrific. It's great.
It's just so over the top, and I wish we could do it for Nova.
Yeah.
I just don't know how we would.
I want more events with this level of terrain. Like it was
Yeah.
great. There were a few like of the larger buildings that may have been a little prohibitive. Other than that, loved it.
Hey man, you take the good, you take the bad when you get that level.
No, I agree.
So yeah,
I agree.
so if you haven't seen them, look online. Cole, what's your Twitter?
C McGunn, CMCGUN, MCGUN. That's it.
What I need to do is I need to add that to the bottom of the screen, just so
Somewhere down there. Yeah.
so I can
it's
add in
okay.
the @strength
Then I'll-
hammer _ hashtag hey Matt.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
No,
look it up. Check his Twitter out if you haven't seen him. Everything's so immaculately painted. Everything looks so good. It's honestly what I was expecting the first time I went to a big event, which you just don't see.
you don't see actually. No, this was top notch. It was great.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely insane. So let me ask. I know it's not fair to pick favorites, but which event did you like better? Like, let's say next year you can only choose one.
I have to pick one. Okay. NashCon tables were better. I wasn't sweating my ass off, so that was nicer. Like, problem with NashCon is an 8 hour drive for me, maybe 9 hour.
Well, again,
Is legit,
if you would have come over the night before and
and
just
it'd been
slept,
8 hour, yeah, instead of
then
nine.
it would have been get up, go, and you wouldn't even notice.
Right, it was the way home that was a problem.
Yeah.
Got home at 3 a.m., got up, went to work. It was a little bit different.
We also know now Cole needs to call Monday off.
No, that's not happening. I need them vacation days. Okay, I'm just an engineer. It's fine. Uh, Damn, if I can only pick one, I'll tell you what. After all the time of COVID and all that, I loved Summer Slaughter just because it was a great event, great tournament. But I actually got the con feel for the first time since COVID started
Mm-hmm.
at NashCon. I felt like I was at a convention with all these other tournaments going on,
Yeah.
with all these vendors, and it was just one of those. Oh, it feels so nice to be back to this again.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I love that.
I agree. I agree. Um, all right. Yeah. So again, like I said, I think I honestly I like going to new places. So we'll see
Yeah,
whether I go Summer Slaughter or NashCon next year. I think it's going to be a kind of a game time decision.
yeah,
It also probably depend on what you and Chuck and all them are doing because I'm not going to go to a tournament by myself in some.
right. That's the whole thing. Is you got to gather friends and go somewhere. So
Now, unless I become amazing, like it's like the end of
if
like Bill and Ted,
yeah,
where I step
right,
out of a time
yeah.
machine and I'm perfect, then
Why not?
then that would be cool to like then go to a tournament by myself, not talk to
Oh
anybody, and just
yeah,
get to the top
yeah.
table like who the hell is that, and just leave.
Oh yeah. Sure. Pretend like you just not talk to anybody and still do that. Yeah.
Oh, you know me, I don't talk to anybody about anything, man.
Oh yeah. Never. You never talk.
All right, so let's do a palate cleanser here before we get into the I I guess the secondary topic at this point since we
I was gonna say I wouldn't call it the main topic at
yeah.
this point. We just cracked through that for a whole hour. So
All right, palate cleanser. So number one, we have floaty rocks with potentially a boot. What are you thinking?
it's a wonderful question. This, in my mind, is a spellcaster or a warp user of some sort. I don't know which, and I don't know what the hell it's even for.
So
I'm being completely honest with you.
I know a lot of people are calling this 40k.
The boot makes me think 40k.
The boot makes me think KO.
Okay, but what's making the rock float?
Well, Aether Gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's a flying
So
army.
40k. I mean,
It's a flying army, so I mean, it's not. But like the rocks themselves actually remind me of the one endless spell from Lumineth, the one that's the Rocky A.
okay. Yeah.
It does remind me a lot of that. Now again, like I said, is it KO? Probably not. It's probably a 40k
Probably
thing.
not. Yeah.
But
It's okay to be helpful.
I that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it a. It's a new KO priest.
Okay. Okay.
So go ahead, aim for the fences, and nail it down. What is it?
Sure. This is crap. I don't know. I had an idea, and it just completely said, "No, that can't be it." I wanted to say it was some sort of chaos sorcerer, but that boot's too clean.
Yep, and it has some nice tread on the side there.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I really don't know what it would be then. Shoot, I should have thought about this a little bit more. Hmm. It's something 40k though. That's all I know.
All right, 40k
Must
thing.
be. I'm thinking it's a space marine of some sort.
Okay, 40k Space Marine thing. All right, all
Yeah.
right. We prefer more specifics, but we'll let you
I'll
slide.
work on it on the next one. I'll work on it on the next one.
All right. So speaking of the next one, this is definitely a 40k thing.
Yep, another 40k thing.
That's got a 40k handle with a 40k bolt and a 40k blade.
Yep.
What sort of 40k thing is it though?
This is some sort of either Chaos Cultist or Gene Stealer Cultist holding some sort of strange weapon they've picked up. Just hack.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's something.
say this is a Necromunda ganger holding a big axe.
Okay, I'll give you that too. Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
moving on to the last one of the month already. The
Yeah,
one that's brought a lot of controversy. Well, I've heard a lot of different things on this one. What do you think?
this is corn. That little symbol down in the bottom left corner.
Hmm.
That's just part of the corn symbol. That's all it is.
I can see it. I can see it.
Yep.
Yeah, the one a lot of people were saying Savage Orcs, and I was like, orcs have extremely defined muscles,
Yeah.
whereas he's
Yeah.
just normal defined muscles. So
Yeah. This
I,
is human of some sort.
yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree that it's probably a corn thing, and you know, I just can't wait to see corn actually get something.
Me too. They were my first love in AOS, and I really want them to be good, be great.
And like I said, not only do I want to see them be good, be great, but like I also want to see them. I want to see them be more representative of their narrative.
Yeah, that is one thing that the army, even whenever it was doing better for the last few years, it was not. It was very much a I'm going to play a game of chess
Yeah,
and hope that I won that game of chess, not big scary thing go forward.
right, right,
Not if you want to do well. You can do big scary thing go forward, but your big scary thing just dies.
right,
So
right.
that doesn't help you much.
Yeah,
So
I'd like to see bloodthirsters be, or not bloodthirsters. Which is your standard demon? Is that
bloodletter.
bloodletter? I'd like to see a
Yeah.
bloodletter war scroll that actually does something.
Yeah, it needs a little bit of reach because we got put on 32 mil bases. I'm going to always complain because I had them on 25 mil circles
Yeah,
until AOS came around, and then I had to rebase them with 32 circles.
yeah. I know we've talked about this ad nauseum here, but anything
Yeah.
that's 32, unless it's a defensive or 5-man squad,
Need some sort of rule to let it fight in two ranks.
yeah.
Yep.
Even if it's just if it's a rule where it's like if you are touching if the model's touching the base of a model that's touching base, like if they
Right.
do a little
Yeah.
40k dip, that's
Mhm.
um yeah, man. I don't yeah they, yeah
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have me all flustered about the crap that they pull with that. Um,
Yeah.
all right, let me see here. Okay, sorry, I'm getting this set up here. Where is okay? Well, while I am getting this next frame set up,
Yeah.
why don't you tell me about some of the you were talking about how you were having a conversation about what you would like to see added to IDK. Why don't you go over that a little bit?
Oh, what I'd like to see added to Deepkin. Um, I think what they need at this point is something for bodies. They need basically in this game in thirded right now. The reason I'm struggling with them at least is that my lists aren't built to last into rounds 4 and 5, and I think that's how you win fifth net. Is you either table your opponent quickly or you last into the deep waters and just outscore your opponent and outgrind them.
Which
And right now, I need something that'll do that better
yeah,
with bodies.
and I can definitely see that. It's uh, they definitely need. Like I said, I mean, it's not that they necessarily need something,
They
but
don't
I
need it,
understand what you're saying. Like you'd
right?
like
They're
to be able to have the option to have some depth.
right, and it feels like it's just something that at least the EO list lacks. Doesn't have a lot of wounds, which a lot of armies right now don't have a lot of wounds, but just being 3-man units, somebody just walks up with any old random 5-man and says, "I'm not even going to charge you. This is fun." Or
Yeah.
any random monster walks up and you're just like, "Well, I lost the point until I kill it." So it's one of those. It's going to take some getting used to, or I think redoing the list for building with bodies. Problem is that the bodies that we have very easily picked up. So
Yeah.
just going to take some figuring out, getting Deepkin to work right now.
Okay.
I'm exploring Reavers at the moment. We'll see how they go.
Honestly, like I fought I fought the Reavers a couple times. And I feel like they get very bad credit.
The problem is that for however long the book's been out, they have been compared to more Starguard,
Well,
and
that's not.
that was not a fair comparison,
No, it's not.
right? So I think that's the problem. I'm currently exploring a list that's going to run a 30 block of Reavers, and we shall see how that goes. Obviously, Brad, who did so well down at NashCon, loves his bows, and he's kind of the person that told me, "Hey, just step back, let's try this and see what happens."
Yeah.
It's interesting. We'll see.
Well, again, our shared IDK opponent, I think he did a really interesting thing of
I really
garrisoning
enjoyed this list.
Lotan in the
Yeah,
boat.
that was great. Yeah,
I think that's a really
Mary
clever
said that
idea.
to me. It was great.
I've never seen it before. Of course, I've never seen Lotan on the table
On the top,
non-ironically before.
yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can hate it all you want. It's damn true. Like,
I almost said something about me taking him at Neil's narrative event, but that was completely ironically.
yeah,
So,
that's why I added
yeah.
non-ironically. That's all right. So into the secondary thing, I'm just going to basically have
Okay.
to add these post. So this way, I at least figured out a way to share them with you, and so we'll be able
Sure.
to go over it at the same time. So I was, since we really didn't have anything to really talk about beyond this, we always have to get into some sort of mechanic thing.
Yeah.
I decided, with Stormcast being pushed off and everything like that, now's the time to bring up updated standalone Dispossessed, the army that I want to see.
You want Grudney to get his hands dirty and
Yep.
get his boys going.
So I'm calling the army Grugny's Reclaimers.
Okay. So the dispossessed. Now we're reclaiming everything. I
Right.
like it.
So and again, so it is the reclaiming thing works on a lot of different ways. So they're trying to reclaim their land. Grugny's like, okay, we're going to find a new
How,
Kara's a Karak, and we're going to get that whole thing started up again. We're going to get the boat rolling. Because again, I feel like what they're going to do in the story, like in the actual narrative, I think Grugny is going to join KO.
you're probably not wrong. Yeah.
And I feel like that is not the right way to go. Because
Okay.
they're doing fine, and I think if you're going to add a ground force to them, it's going to make the army feel weird. And it would be easier just to lift up the dispossessed at this point. Because, again, I'm still all on board the let's cover our bases. Let's cover our basic bases, and then we'll worry about the weird stuff,
Fair enough.
because again, like I said, the first thing anyone comes into whenever they don't play AOS but they're looking at it, where's my humans, where's my dwarves, where's my elves?
Yep.
Whether you like it or not, you can point to the Lumineth and go, there's your elves.
Yep.
You can point to Daughters of Cain and go, here's your dark elves. You know, for dwarves, you go, well, you have these weird naked guys, or you have these weird flying guys. And for humans, well,
You're playing cities.
hope you
Kinda.
like pantaloons. That's
Yeah. Yeah. And even if you want your traditional ones, you're still playing cities, and even then
Right.
you're playing old, dated models both ways.
Right.
So,
so. And again, what's funny is like the rules aren't terrible for dispossessed. They're just They just need a little polish, and they need some allegiance abilities to kind of go with them. So, what's funny with that is like, I came up with a couple war scrolls of some preferred units.
Okay.
As far as allegiance abilities, I was a little. So while I was coming up with the war scrolls, I started liking everything that I was coming up with so much.
Of course. You want to build around it. Yeah.
That I was like, I need to stop, or this is going to get out of hand. Like, in 6 months, I was going to be like, here's my battle tome. Like, I'm going to start running events just so someone can bring this army. Like, I'm gonna hire someone to sculpt miniatures, and it's gonna.
Oh boy.
So I was like, nope. I made a couple war scrolls, and we're gonna pump the brakes. That's
smart.
Now, like I said, with that being said, like, some allegiance abilities, it's actually surprisingly kind of hard to come up with. It's actually surprisingly a little bit rough. Without having the battle tomes come out yet or anything like that, you don't know what route they're going. You don't know where the sacred rails are. A part of me would like to see something like heroes can give out all out defense more than once per phase.
Okay, give them more of a defensive role, something like that. Okay.
And again, like I said, to me that would make sense. It wouldn't be game breaking, and it wouldn't be like, what are you talking about? You know,
right.
Or even if it's just like my Warden King can give it.
Now, here's my idea for an allegiance ability for this Reclaimer's Dwarves army.
Yes.
Their whole idea is to hurry out and grab land, in my mind. If you're not near an objective, give yourself +2 movement. If you are holding an objective, give yourself +1 save.
Oh, well, so what's funny is you're gonna like some of the some of the stuff I've come up with, because that's one of the things. It's like I kind of accidentally came up with war scrolls that are really, really good.
Of course, whenever you're writing for yourself, you're like, I'm going to give myself the greatest.
So, in my opinion, like whenever I say really, really good, I mean it's something that I could see in the game and it wouldn't be broken, because I could easily come up with, Iron Drakes now are 3 up, 2 up with a 24-inch range. They shoot twice.
That's fair.
And the second time they shoot, you increase their rend. And if they hit you before, then they do an extra 1 damage. Like, okay, it's easy to do shit like that.
Mortal wound on hits 6. So yeah.
Yeah. So let me get these pulled up here. I'm going to go ahead and share. Let's see.
Yeah. No.
So don't worry, like I said, this...
don't worry about it.
Okay, we'll just go this route. All right.
There it is.
So first, I came up with the Dwarden Rangers. Might need to work on the name a little bit, but...
Okay.
That it is what it is. So, anyone that's old school knows that the dwarfs used to have a ranger unit, and they were similar to this, except for this is a little bit more in depth. So again, this unit's probably going to be taken in groups of 5. This is kind of the theme of the army, is to be taken in groups of 5.
So more elite force, kind of like the rest of the Dwarden are, compared to our dispossessed currently.
Right. And basically, once you got into playtesting, you try and figure out a way to kind of get them to the point where they would be okay being in a group of 5. So so for these guys, they have a 5-up move. I know dwarves with movement. Who gives a crap? That's. But a 2 wounds, 4-up save. Again, even whenever they're in leather, they're friggin' dwarves. They're supposed to stay there. They have 2 profiles. Both of them are almost mirror of each other. The crossbows, 18 inches, and both the crossbow and hand weapons, 2 attacks, 3s, 1 rend, 1 damage. Okay. Whenever you're in elite, I think that this is where you should start. 3, 1 rend. because again,
Yeah.
nowadays one rend really doesn't do that much. At least
Right.
what you're doing is giving your opponent reason to use their command abilities.
Right.
So
It worries me, but since this is only to be taken in groups of 5, it's
exactly,
less worrying. It's only 10 shots, so it's nowhere near as scary as what I was thinking in my head there. Okay.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So they have a compass, which is going to sound a little bit like the Rangers or the Vanguard Hunters for Stormcast, but as you read in there a little bit, it changes pretty quick. Basically, for every 5 models in this unit, one can be equipped with a compass. If this unit has a model with a compass, at the end of your hero phase, when the unit is wholly within 1 inch of a terrain feature, this unit can be removed from the battlefield. Then at the end of your movement phase, set it up wholly within 1 inch of a terrain feature outside of 7 inches of all enemy units.
Makes me think of Sylvaneth.
It is a little bit. But again, this is the one unit you have that's going to do this.
Okay.
This is like kind of your outlier unit. Now, again, due to their movement, there is another unit that comes up that has a little bit of play with movement, set up later sort of thing, but they only get to do it once.
Gotcha.
Now, they do have their Forgotten Trails ability, where instead of setting this unit up on the battlefield, you can declare that it is stalking and set it to one side. At the end of your movement phase, you can choose to place this model anywhere in the battlefield wholly within 1 inch of a terrain feature and more than 7 inches away from all enemy units, or wholly within 6 inches of a table edge and more than 7 inches from all enemy units. Then I took...
What made you decide on 7 inches instead of our normal 9?
Well,
Out of curiosity.
just because these guys will probably cost a little bit more.
Okay.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised. I would probably start off by pointing these between 180 and 220, so you're not going to have a
Yeah.
lot of these in a yard.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And again, like I said, I mean, it's you want to try and get these guys in combat, or you all like I set it up so you kind of want to shoot or you want to melee.
Okay.
And there's really not too many bonuses that I see coming into the army to give bonuses to charge.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
yeah. So then I took this a little bit from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Basically, whenever you set up the unit, you immediately choose an enemy unit to be the unit's quarry. Anytime the unit attacks the enemy, you basically have a bonus depending on how you're
Shooting
attacking.
or melee.
Right.
Yeah,
So if
okay.
you're shooting, you're re-rolling all failed hit rolls with the crossbow, and if you are attacking, your damage goes from 1 to D3. Once the quarry has been destroyed, choose another enemy to become your new quarry.
Okay.
So now, with that D3, again, you still have a 33% chance that you're still just going to do 1 damage.
Right. Right.
But
You're going to average 2 on it.
right. But now your opponent has to keep your eye out. Like now it puts this unit to a little bit of a higher priority.
Right. This take aim ability, it definitely scares me if I'm on the receiving end of it.
I think I might change that to add 1.
Yeah, I think add 1.
But like I
Add
said,
2.
this is really
But,
just
yeah, we're just, it's all a thought experiment. But yeah.
right. But again, like I said, I think whenever you do that, whenever you give, I think all of these units that have the ability to shoot and have the ability to melee, they need to do something that you are choosing. This round it is a shooting unit. This round it is a melee unit.
Not everything at once. Yeah.
Right. And because again, like I said, I absolutely agree that you can't have stuff that's super awesome at shooting and super awesome at melee. And like I said, I may have pushed it a little bit with this profile. Maybe for the take aim, what I might do is move that attack down to 1 for base. If I was trying to be balanced, move it down to a base 1 attack, and then leave the take aim go up to +2 attack.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a couple different things to do.
This
and
last ability I really think's interesting. I could see that in the game and be a very interesting place for them to play around with.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, it's one of those things. And I might even go as far to add on there, if this unit did not shoot and it successfully charges.
Yeah, so you can't unleash hell beforehand and still get this. Yeah,
Right, right.
I like that.
I think that would be that way because again, like I said, as far as like the rangers go, you I like the idea of a dwarf ranger because it is taking two things that are largely not similar and you're
Right.
finding an interesting combination of the two.
Hmm.
This is like the chicken and waffles of the army.
There we go. No, I like this.
So, like I said, 180, maybe 200.
Yeah. No, I agree with that more. At first, I was thinking kind of like how our other dwarves are pointed for their basic 5 wound crew, but this is more of an elite unit,
Right.
I think. So yeah, I like that a little bit more. Yeah,
So,
doesn't decrease sporting.
so on to bringing back another classic, the Dwarden Miners.
Oh, I love this unit.
So this is basically going to be set up to be a unit of 10. And it
Okay,
doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be a unit of 5, and if it is, I would probably put the wounds up to 2 on these guys as well.
agreed.
But they all have rifles. So they all start off with a Drakefire Carbine, which is a 16-inch, 1 attack, 3 threes, 1 ren, 1 damage. Again,
Okay,
that's any more. I feel like if you're looking at a 4 in an attack profile, there has to be a reason for it.
or if there's a 4, you need a way to get a 3
Right.
from something else. Yeah.
Right. And so like now again, like if you look at the pickaxes, so I for pickaxes I went 2 attacks, 4s, 3s, 1 ren, 1 damage. I went with the 4 to hit there because now you're getting 2 attacks and this isn't that's not why the unit is there.
Right.
So for the lead miner, or lead miner if you read it that way, well, I guess I kind of have to explain two things at once. So for the old way that they used to do this, it was literally just a group of miners that burrowed out of the ground and they brought a mining cart with them, and in the mining cart was a bunch of guns. And then you got to pick which gun you shot with. So I maintained the basis of that idea. And so basically, if you have your lead miner, he's essentially the person that's firing the main gun, and so he gives you +1 to hit with two of the 3 options. So in your hero phase, you basically pick what weapon you're setting up. You have your Molten Gatler, which is your high attack, low damage, 4s, 3s, 1 ren, 1 damage. But again, with your lead miner, 3s, 3s, 1 ren, 1 damage.
Right.
Then you have your heavier hitting, which I would probably, now looking at it, I'd probably up the damage to 3 or 4. But it is 24 inches. So you got 2 attacks, 4s, 2s, ren 2, 2 damage.
Right.
I don't know. I always kind of feel weird about damage, but it
I
is.
think I could see this being a 3 damage weapon.
I think I could see it as well.
Yeah.
So their ability, Deep Underground. Instead of setting the unit up on the battlefield, you can declare that it is mining underground and set it to one side. At the end of your movement phase, you can choose a place. You can choose to place this model anywhere within on the battlefield, more than 9 inches away from all enemy models or enemy units. So back to normal.
Right.
And of
Back to
course,
the old
for
days.
this and the Rangers, also add in the text of like if it's not put down by turn, whatever, it's lost.
Right. Yeah. That's just our rule.
Now for the last weapon that I didn't talk about, the Cinderblast Launcher. This is pick an enemy unit with an 18, roll a die on a 2-up, roll a dice for each model in that unit, deal a mortal wound to that unit for each result of a 5-up. I was very torn to do 4-up on this, but I felt like the
4-up's a big thing.
the
If you're gonna
4-up
give
to
some
5-up is a
4-up,
world of difference. However,
yes.
for that initial roll, when you're looking for the 2-up, if you roll a 1, the weapon is destroyed and you can no longer use it.
I don't know, because there are armies that 5-up is going to be devastating against.
Right.
There are armies that will not give a single crap that this is going on.
Right.
And if I'm one of those armies that is a horde army with 30 models in a unit. Not there's going to be a lot of those anymore.
Right. Well, that's one of the things I was really kicking around this with a lot of things here. So I was looking at it. I was trying to think. I was like, well, maybe you have to roll under their armor save. But then I was like, well, again, then it's too powerful with horde units, and not
Right.
powerful enough for elite.
I like where you were going with it, honestly.
I don't.
I may have just done that was a singular charge, and it's just going to do D3 or 2D3 mortal wounds and
You
call
know,
it a day.
you know what would not be a bad idea is harking back to the old, the initial flame cannon,
Okay.
where you just pick an enemy unit, roll a die, and on a whatever you do 1d6 mortal wounds, and then once that's done, roll a die, and if you, I think it was like a 2-up, you do d6, and then after that, roll a die, and on a 4-up, you do another d6,
Okay. There's an idea. It's
and
not
then
an
that
idea.
way
I think.
keep the roll of 1, so you're rolling twice, doubling your chance
I
of
think
getting
you
that
could
one.
also have a fun one of on the one you deal some damage to yourself
Yeah,
too.
yeah, that's true as
I
well.
think you could do something fun with that.
Um, and yeah, like I said, and I also feel like it it balances out with the other two solid choices. Because
Right.
again, getting 12 attacks at threes, threes, one rend, one damage, that's it's not
It's
game
very good.
breaking, but it's reliable.
Right.
All right, so now onto a little bit more of a creative unit here, the Battle
Okay.
Masons.
The battle masons. Okay.
I love this unit.
All right. Checking them out here.
So this is supposed to be a unit of 10. And their main weapon profile is just masonry tools, range 1, 1 attack, 4s, 5s, no rend, 1 damage. You're literally talking about hitting people with troughs and hammers. So they have their abilities are stay low. Anytime you attempt to roll, a 1, 2, or 3 just counts as a 3. Got to get them moving. These are dwarves. These guys have the 4-inch move. Now, their main thing is the fortify. At the
Okay.
end of your movement phase, if this unit is wholly within 1 inch of a terrain feature, it may attempt to fortify that terrain feature. If this unit is wholly within one of multiple terrain features, this unit must choose one terrain feature to work on. To do so, roll a die for every model in that unit. On a 4+, add 1 success to the project. I really didn't know what else to call it.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. Yeah, yeah.
Keep track of the number of successes per terrain feature. The terrain feature receives the following benefits once an appropriate number of successes has been received.
Yeah.
So 1 to 4, friendly models cannot be damaged by any rules associated with this terrain feature. So
More deadly.
right,
Cool.
so deadly. If you manage to get over to a Seraphon's bunker or whatever the hell it is, or Sylvaneth Wildwoods. Nope, I've now made a home here.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
Once you reach 5 to 9, you get a second +1 to all save rolls for models wholly within 1 inch of the terrain feature. So you get the one from the cover, one from the save. Of course, you don't get the stack due to 3rd edition,
Right.
but
Right. You'll ignore one rend,
right.
basically.
Whenever you get up to 10 and 14, the terrain feature can no longer be demolished. So that whole monster thing, gone. The gate wrecker thing, gone. I also wanted to add in something like they do not receive any additional damage for abilities that target garrisoned units. But then 15+ is like the big one, where they add that defensive battery. So that 24-inch, 4 attack, 4s, 3s, 2 rend, 2 damage, now is a profile that exists with that terrain feature.
So you'd get to roll one attack at fours, four dice, fours, threes, minus two, two.
Right.
Okay, okay. Now I understand it because at first I saw this profile and I just saw that 4 attacks and I went, "Are we rolling 40 dice here, Matt?" I
Nope.
got scared for a second.
Right.
Now
It is
that I've read it,
the terrain feature gets a defense battery that is 4 attacks, fours, threes, twos, rend 2 damage. And you're right. That might be a little vague. If I were to try to do something serious with it, it would be
Right. We would try to do
clarified that no matter how many models, one person gets to shoot it. And
no,
it is
but now I understand it. That makes a lot more sense.
And then I didn't want this unit to like kind of be stuck out with its ass hanging out. So I put in the "you built it, now defend it" ability, where if they didn't attempt to fortify and they are garrisoned, they can attack with warding spears instead of masonry tools. And the warding spears is 2 attacks, 3s, 4s, 1 rend, 1 damage.
Okay.
Nice and simple. So, like I said, I can see. I would say that I would probably do a special rule for this where one unit of battle masons can count as a battle line, but I wouldn't let it be more than that.
No, same.
So that way you can have like 2 or 3 units. These I would probably point these guys maybe 130, maybe 140.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not the greatest, but they can build a great shooting attack later in game.
Right. Because again, like, if you're looking at
2 turns,
right, exactly. If you're looking at 10 models and they all get to roll, and you're looking for 4 up, the head surveyor automatically adds 1 success. So you're looking at maybe between 5 and 6 per round. So on battle round 3, you're getting that defense battery put up.
Right.
And I don't think that's broken. I think that's pretty cool, personally.
Yeah, I like that idea. It's pretty cool.
Which the one thing I like is, as your army is going down and the amount of attacks are going down, this almost comes in and like replaces what's missing.
Says, okay, we got this now. Bam, 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 bam.
Right.
Yeah.
And then moving along here, let me think. What is this? This is... Oh, yes. So first off, between dispossessed as they are now and fire slayers, they have every rune word under the sun taken. So this is your standard, this is your dwarf priest, except for they have a really cool ability. Their attack profile is useless, but leave thy mark. When this model is within 3 inches of an objective you control, you can choose to etch one of the following runes into the objective. Each objective can only be etched with 1 rune, meaning if it's the mirror match, whoever gets there first is the first one to etch. That's it.
Right.
Once etched, it cannot be undone. It stays for the remainder of the battle, and is only in effect when you control the objective. So you can choose the Rune of Iron. All friendly units wholly within 6 inches of this objective add +1 to save rolls. The Rune of Gromril. All friendly units wholly within 6 of this objective have a 5-up ward. If they already have a ward, increase that ward by 1 to a minimum of +4 or 4 up. I don't know how you would word that, but you just can't get to a 3+. That's up. My favorite, Rune of Fire. All enemies within 6 inches of this objective are dealt D3 mortal wounds at the end of a success. It's supposed to say successful charge move, and at the start of every hero phase. So, again, that might sound harsh, but you have to remember this is only in effect whenever you control the objective. So it's basically like...
Okay, so if the enemy takes control of the objective, this isn't doing anything to them.
Right.
Okay,
so,
I feel a lot better about it then.
Right.
Okay.
So it's all about that, can I take this off of them?
Right.
And then, of course, the last one that I had to add in there, all friendly models within 6 inches of this objective count as 2 models when calculating the number of models on an objective.
I like that.
And then he's also a priest. So during your hero phase... Oh, I also forgot to add in the whole dispelling thing, but I think that's pretty much baked in now.
Yeah, that's a given. Yeah,
and of course...
That's built in.
Yeah, and of course he's going to have +2 or +3 to that unbind roll.
Sure.
During your hero phase, this model can chant this prayer. If they do, blah, 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 blah. On a 3-up, the prayer is answered. If the prayer is answered, either pick a friendly unit within 12 inches or an enemy unit within 18. If you pick a friendly unit, increase that unit's rend with all weapons by 1 until the start of your next hero phase. If you pick an enemy unit, decrease that unit's rend with all weapons by 1 until the start of your next hero phase. A unit cannot be affected by this ability more than once.
Fair enough. It's interesting. I kind of like the idea.
Yeah, like that was one thing I was looking at. I was like, there's nothing...
The prayer, I feel like, yeah.
there's nothing that really impacts. You know what I should do is I should add a fifth, the rune of anchoring. This objective cannot be moved.
Can't be moved, can't be swallowed by Gur, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of that's a man, Cole. That's a good idea.
There we go.
GW, call me. All right, so these are the rational ones. Now we're going to spiral a little bit, okay?
Okay.
So
Okay.
so this is my idea for dispossessed from day one.
Okay.
Golem smiths. These guys are like riding in a cross between like these technological stone like statue golem things. Like they're a combination of technology and rune magic.
Okay.
So there's two kinds. This is the melee kind. We'll get over the artillery kind next. 8-inch move, 5 wounds, 2 up save. Chuck said I should have made them with 3 up, but they're not real, so 2 up.
How many models per unit?
3.
3. Okay.
3.
Continue.
So Grommel Hammer is a 3 up or 3-inch attack, 4 attacks, 3s, 2s, 2 ren, 2 damage. Then they also get stomps, 2 stomps, 3s, 4s, no ren, 1 damage. They have an ability called Walking Ramparts. Any attacks against this unit has its rend worsened by 1, and additionally it has a 4-up ward save. It should probably be a 5.
Yeah.
This next ability I absolutely love, called Strike the Earth. At the beginning of any charge phase, you can say this unit will strike the earth. If it does so, roll a die on a 2+. Any enemy units within 9 inches from a model in this unit has a -3 to any charge roll for the rest of the turn.
Okay.
So
Design space I'm interested in.
so again, if
I
you
like
are
you have to be
able,
within 9.
right, if you're able to run and charge, or if you're able to do that, or even get your regular movement in, it's not really gonna impact you too much.
Might make it into 6-inch charges need to be made, so 3 inches, which
Right.
is big.
Right. Now the main thing this is the haha I teleported in, or haha I dropped down.
Right.
No, you're still gonna stay out there, buddy.
Well, I like that you said they have to be within 9. So actually,
Right.
anything that teleports in more than likely doesn't even get touched by this. There's a few that break that rule, but not many.
Oh, you're right. So the intent is to affect them. So I might out that. Well, again, if I was actually doing anything serious with this, I would bump it out
Right.
to 10.
Right. Okay.
And then the last one, calculate trajectory. When this unit attempts to charge, roll 3 dice, drop the lowest when determining charge distance. Again, it's that technology aspect. I was trying. One of the things I always do, if you couldn't tell with every other unit so far in here, is I always get a little expansive with abilities.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I
you
wanted
like abilities. I got it.
I wanted something that was very low ability.
Yeah.
So you have what, 2 abilities and or 2
The
simple
hell of a
abilities and a mechanic.
Right.
Again, 3 units, probably 220 to 240. And I think I just want to see the
Yeah.
model. I just want to see the model, man.
Fair
Put it
enough.
on
Fair
a that's 40 inch. They have 40 inches. Is that a thing?
40 mil.
Yeah. What are
40 mil base. Yeah.
what are rat
Uh,
ogres?
Oh, those might be 50 mil, 50 or 60
50 it is then.
mil. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be
Over
good.
to the shooty ones. I think these need a little workshopped.
Okay.
I like the idea of them. So they have their range attack is called the Grudge Settler, 24
Okay.
inch. Probably should be bumped down to 18. 3 attacks, 4s, 3s, 2 rend, 2 damage.
And somebody with a turtle that has a 24-inch shot, I don't think it's bad.
24 it is
It's
then.
okay.
So what their leader does is they're the rangefinder. It adds 1 to hit rolls for the Grudge Settler for the whole unit. So that puts them on
Okay.
3s and 3s, 2 rend, 2 damage.
Okay.
As you can see, their melee is okay.
Yeah,
Not really nothing too much to complain about. But I didn't want them to be. I didn't want you to
they're
just
not a
go
melee unit.
right.
Yeah,
I wanted to go like, okay, why would I take both if I can just do melee and range with the one? So
yeah.
they have the walking rampart ability as well. Now they have the mobile barricade ability, which you can see is their melee weapon. Basically, I imagine them holding like a giant like cement road barrier.
Right. I get what you're saying.
And
They're holding a wall.
right. So this if this unit has not made a normal move or charge this turn, subtract 1 inch from all melee weapons to a minimum of 1 until the end of the turn. So
So all melee weapons attacking them.
right. And again, like I said, I it's getting a little
Right,
late when I
right. I
started.
just want to make sure you're okay. So basically, my range 2 weapons become range 1.
Right. Which I think is an interesting way to add some defense.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just getting less attacks in on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they also have an ability called Calculated Trajectory, but what theirs do is this unit, if this unit has not made a normal move or charge, units cannot benefit from Lookout Sir, and this unit ignores all negative modifiers to hit and wound rolls.
I'd let the wound rolls go, but I'll give you that.
Again, like I said, just throwing stuff.
Yeah, we're just throwing stuff at the wall here.
Once again, I would love to see the little dwarves like piloting their golems with these like rail guns, like Tau style rail guns coming off the back.
Yeah. No, the shooting attack makes me think of in Seraphon the Stegodon. So I'm
Oh
cool with
yeah.
it. Like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what you just ripped right there. So I'm all good with it there.
All right.
Yeah.
And then the last one that I came up with. You want to take a guess what the last one is?
Some sort of like mechanical dragon or some shit.
Oh no, no man! You gotta swing for the fences when you come to the last one, because
Oh,
we
okay.
are looking at Grugny, Grand Overseer and
course.
Crafter
Of
Supreme.
course.
So we're looking at a unit
Goodness,
that's
that cannon.
probably
Gauntlet.
780, if not 800
Yeah.
points.
Gotcha.
So 5 inch move, 20 wounds, 2 up save, 10 bravery. He has a hand cannon that I originally did Pythagorean theorem to figure out how far the
Corner to corner is.
corner to corner is, which is 70. It's like 74 point something inches. So this was originally a 75-inch range weapon. I was like, no, I think people would be upset about that.
Yeah.
So 60 inches, 6 attacks, twos, rend 2, 3 damage. Then he has the Dwarden Hammer of Creation, 3-inch range, 6s, 6 attacks, twos, 2 rend, 4 damage. He's going to fuck shit up.
Yeah, he is. Holy shit.
Well, again,
Wrathy who?
I know, right? So, Beard from the Old World, he ignores all rend when making save rolls and has a 4+ ward. If an ability would slay this model, it's just ignored. No more of this 1 mortal wound crap. Nope. Grugny don't care. Penultimate Craftsman, I love this ability. So I'm sure people are going to bitch and moan about it. Any hit roll of 6 counts as 2 hits. Any wound roll of 6 deals mortal wounds equal to the damage characteristic instead of normal damage. So you roll a 6 for your Hammer of Creation, you're dealing 4 wounds and 4 mortals instead of 4 regular.
Oof. Yeah, I don't think he needs the mortals with his attack profiles, but okay.
Hell yeah. Well, again, we're going God, we're going big. You want him 850? I'd pay 850. Hell, I'd pay 900 for this.
Okay. That's more in the realm of where I'm thinking at the moment.
Keen Judgmental Eye. All friendly Dwarden units on the battlefield have a bravery of 10, which cannot be modified. All enemy Dwarden units on the battlefield have their bravery. Now, if you look at the way I worded things,
I see what you're saying.
I was thinking about the mirror match.
Yep.
So
The guy with Grugny is very, very happy. The guy without doesn't really want to fight their god.
now, if the opponent brings Grugny, they both have a bravery of 10, which cannot be modified.
Okay.
See?
I like that. I like that.
And then additionally, all friendly battle masons receive a +2 to their fortify roll as long as Grugny's on the battlefield. So
Okay,
now
so wow, okay.
you're building that shit fast.
Yeah, you are.
Creator of the runes. Anytime a spell is cast, Grugny must attempt to unbind it. Grugny receives a +4 to this unbind attempt. If the unbind roll is double or more to the casting value, the wizard receives D3 mortal wounds. If the unbind roll is double the casting value exactly, that spell cannot be cast again for the remainder of the battle.
It's big.
So, like, I'm looking at a lot of Lumineth stuff. So, like, even though Teclis might cast it on a 10, like, let's say he's just trying to cast Mystic Shield on a 10. You roll that. What is Mystic Shield now? 4?
5.
5. So you roll a 10, Mystic Shield is gone.
It's a little much, I think, but I get what we're going for.
Dwarven God, I ain't changing.
Screw your magic. Okay.
Right. Additionally, I love this too. At the start of the hero phase, remove all end spells from the battlefield.
Boy.
If a friendly Dwarden priest fails to chant a prayer, they may re-roll the prayer roll.
Okay, that one I'll give you.
Avatar of Stubborn.
God when he's right beside you.
Right. Yeah, it's really hard to muck up that prayer.
Yeah.
Avatar of Stubborn. Once per game, if Grugny is slain, do not remove him from the battlefield. At the end of the combat phase, roll a die. If the result is equal to or less than the battle round, Grugny is not slain and heals 10 wounds. So, you drop him to 0, roll that die. You got it? He's back up to 10.
So the longer the game goes, the more likely he is to stay.
Yeah. Because he's getting more into the battle. So at the beginning, he's just like, okay, what's going on? And then just whap. Okay, well, I wasn't really feeling it anyways. Grugny can grant all-out defense to all friendly units within range once per turn without spending a command ability.
Okay.
Again, just
I'm agreeing with Chuck Moore that some of your saves need to go from 2 pluses to 3 pluses. But yes, continue.
Listen, man, I'm like a pig in my... So I'm also following Chuck's advice of, when making a god, you're going to piss off most people, so just do what you want to do.
Okay.
And then for the command ability for Karaz Karak, all friendly Dwarden units within 20 inches may run in charge for the rest of the turn. All friendly Dwarden units that successfully charge can add 1 to their wound rolls for all melee weapons for the rest of the turn.
Okay, I like that ability. That's cool.
Boom. Grugny, man.
Damn. The 2-up unrendable is scary. I know what my defensive eels do for the turn they charge.
Again, Chuck said he should be 3-up, and he's probably right, but...
Yeah. I don't disagree. 3-up and ethereal, basically.
All right, let's stop this here. Let's get us back up on the screen.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool ideas, though. So definitely, my favorite one of that whole deal was you get charged, you fight first. That's a whole idea. I think that would be really fun to explore.
Yeah. And again, like I said, I mean, I think a lot of the ideas are actually relatively original. I know you said that the ranged on the Golem Smiths is similar to...
Well, that just means that you're not far off.
Right. But, like, I don't even remember... I didn't even look at their profile, so...
I only knew it because I played against them recently, so I had a decent idea.
And, so yeah, man, like I said, just going through those, I want this army so bad.
It's a pretty cool idea. I really do like it. I see a lot of fun ways you can do that.
Yeah, and again, like I said, because again, I think as long as they get creative with movement, I hope after they came out with Iron Jaws, they realized that you cannot have a 4-inch movement army without some tricks.
Well, that's why, like at the start of it, whenever you said about allegiance abilities, I'd said plus 2 inches if you're not near objective. Lose that if you are near the objective.
Yeah.
Something for getting you there. But once you're already there, okay, we don't want to hear about it anymore.
Yeah.
So,
I remember whenever I was first kind of thinking about this, one of the things that I came up with was you would literally cast giant runes on the battlefield, and those would do different. Like it was kind of it was almost like battle. It was like the Bad Moon, where basically like
okay.
you said like you basically put down 4 giant runes, and then you would determine which ones to activate and which ones and what they would do. So you could have ones like, hey, everything in this quadrant can run and charge.
Right.
Or or like all friendly Dwarden, or like in this one, everything is half moved. Or everyone has moved before.
Yeah.
Again, I'm holding out hope that the chaos. I'm hoping that the chaos army, the chaos dwarf army, is real.
Yeah.
And I hope
Give you a little bit of hope.
I hope after that is when we see Grugny take action.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. My people destroyed the gates of Azir.
Yeah.
Now I really hope to. Now I want Grugny to be like, it's time to stand up. My people, love me or hate me. It's time that we stand together and show the mortal realms what dwarves can do, because we have crazy people underground and we have bitches in the skies. Like,
yeah, you could definitely go. We don't think KO are real Dwarden, and the Fire Slayers have lost their minds, so we don't want to be a part of that. You could do something fun with it.
Now, I also wouldn't mind. There's I can't remember her name right now, but there is a lesser known female dwarf god.
Okay.
I could see them adding her. I wouldn't mind having like some like I don't know if you would call them shield maidens or whatever, but
no, I know exactly what you mean. That'd be a very cool idea. Yeah.
I would like to see.
Line.
I think you could have some really interesting ideas, like not just integrating female dwarf models, but having female dwarf units. And be like, oh, you know why you haven't seen female dwarves on the battlefield? It's because they have different roles.
Right. These are actually the warrior elite that, okay, shit's gone downhill. We have to go and ask the Sisterhood to come out and save our asses or some shit. Yeah.
Well, so one thing that's funny is I don't think they could get away with it. I don't think they could get away with this idea, but Chuck has a full proxied Longbeard unit that is all female dwarves.
Okay.
And what he says is, are you familiar with Longbeards?
Yes, I remember Longbeards, the old grumblings.
Yeah, so they get grumbling and they get to do stuff. So instead of grumbling, it's all dwarven wives, and they're sitting there nagging.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, you couldn't get away with that nowadays, but it's basically the same idea. Old men grumbling. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be hilarious. But again, like I said, I mean, I think there's a huge space that they could play in there. I mean, just yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready. Let's go play. Let's go play some Warhammer, man.
I like some of the ideas you came up with in there too. Yeah, I think it'd be fun army to goof around with and try to figure something out.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, we are looking here to be at about the 2-hour 20-minute mark.
Yeah, we did pretty good then on time today.
I think we successfully broke the 2-hour barrier like normal.
Yeah.
Is there anything? Have you come up with any units of yourself?
No, I was going to suggest something like the Shield Maiden idea. I'm just trying to figure out how do you set the army up, because everything that you showed looks like elites. I want to show like the linchpins that you need for the army to make it.
Yeah.
Okay, here's where you get your +1 hit. Here's where you get your +1 save, +1 damage.
See, that's the problem.
That's
Like,
the harder thing to figure out.
exactly.
Though.
That's. I feel like that's kind of what you come up with last, and so like
Right.
that I'm okay with. But the problem that I kind of crumble is battle line.
Yeah.
Um,
You want them to be good, but not so good you just have a battle line army.
right, right. Because like again, that's one of the things I look at my Stormcast and I'm like, I guess I'll take you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like you have to pick the kid that you want to pick last for dodgeball first.
Yeah. Yep. You're forced to pick 3 of those guys first. Yep.
Yeah, oh God, I hope GW does something, and I hope because again, so here's a little unfair grumbling, but we're talking
Okay.
dwarves, it's allowed.
You're going to do a lot of grumbling. Yeah.
I feel like whenever it comes to an elf army, I feel like you can see that they put more time into it than when they come up with like a dwarf army. Because look at Fire Slayers, look at Dispossessed, look at KO. There's very much this guy affects that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at IDK, you look at Daughters of Cain, you look at Lumineth. Hell, you can even look at the elves that are left in cities.
Yeah.
And it's like this affects this guy and this guy, but if you use this guy over here, then it also affects this guy differently and that guy differently, putting them at a different level and blah 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 blah. And it's like
Right.
you just don't have that. And that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I think it makes more narrative sense.
But the dwarves can do shit on their own.
Right. But the
Yeah.
problem is, it's like this dwarf guy gives these 2 guys +1. Whereas the elves are, this guy gives these 2 elves +1, but this elf also gives them another +1 somewhere else. And it's like,
Right.
then have this guy give +2.
Something like that. Yeah.
I would like to see kind of them work on trying to have it be a little bit more even, because that's one of my biggest complaints about like KO is you look at engine riggers and you look at sky wardens. It's the office meme where they're asking Pam to determine the two. It's like it's the same damn model. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah. It definitely is.
so whenever they revisit the dwarves, whether it's Chaos Dwarves, whether it's new KO, new Fire Slayers, whatever, I just hope that they put some oversaturate with passion. Let me see that you really felt the army, whether it's good or not. As long, I mean, obviously, I would like it to be high middle,
to be nice. Yeah.
High middle. That's
let it chill in that fat middle, and all of us be happy.
Yeah.
And if you really practice with the army, you can 4-1 with it.
But like I said,
that's what I want it to be.
Exactly. Same exactly. And like I said, I just, you can look at battle tomes and you can determine whether they were trying to get it done or whether they loved making it.
Right.
And I want to feel that they loved making it.
I hear you. I think that's what we all want, is to open up our battle tomes and be like, yeah, someone cared about this when they were writing it.
So any last parting words?
No, it's been a hectic August for me. I'm rather happy that my September is going to be quite a bit more quiet. Unless I can find some sort of random event to jump into, then I might just try and do that. But as of right now, I think I'm going to be home most of the month. It'll be quite odd for me.
Well, that's definitely understandable.
Yeah.
Now, there is one last thing that I do want to show off here. Chuck and I finally were able to get...
oh, yes, the shirts.
Yep, we were finally able to get things up and running here. So give me 1 second here, guys.
Some of you NashCon may have even gotten to see me modeling said shirts. It's great.
Oh, yeah. So he Cole wore the font, just the words of the the double turn me daddy, which again, the more I see it, the more I like it. But it's still not. It's not what I wanted.
It's not what you want,
which is fine. And then he also wore the Big M Power Hour logo. So let me show you here. We finally were able to meet and get caught up. So now we have the Double Turn Me Daddy graphic tee with the design a little bit higher up on the shirt. He defaulted it to purple. Don't get purple. Go black. Go black. All right, that's the color for this. And go ahead and just go ahead and get it 5X, the biggest size they got. It doesn't matter what size you are.
There you
just
go.
get it, man.
Just need a 5X. It's okay.
But yeah, so if you haven't seen this, you can find the link in the description below. But we have the Double Turn Me Daddy shirt. Let me go back here to the store page. We have the Big Empower Hour. We have we have the Bottom Table Bully, which I feel like I may need. Maybe, well, boy, okay, I'll have to call Chuck out on this because he spelled maybe wrong on the woman's comfort tee. Oh, he spelled it wrong everywhere. Okay. But yeah, we got the Double Turn Me Daddy graphic, just the words, and then we get into Chuck stuff, which we don't care about. So
Good, yeah.
Like I said, whether you like the show or not, obviously if you watch this far, you probably like it at least a little bit.
You must. Something's wrong with you, but that's okay. We accept you here.
I'm hoping share the Double Turn Me shirt. Again, we've priced it to the point where we Teespring requires you to make a little bit of a profit, so we put it at the minimum. Let's get this out here, man. Let's declare the war.
I love it.
Declare the war on the anti-double turners.
Yeah, we just love it. It's going to be fine. It's a great part of this game. Screw anyone that doesn't like it.
Right. So if save up, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, share it on Twitter. Share it on someone else. Let's tell the world to Double Turn Me Daddy, because you can either ask for it or you can brace for it. It's going to happen either way.
Yes, sir.
All right, and with that, have a great month, everybody. We'll be back for tell you what happened in September. I don't know what will happen in September. I'm assuming Stormcast.
I'm hoping that we'll get at least the pre-order.
Stormcast and Cruel Boys. I would like to talk about Stormcast next time. I don't.
Same.
I mean, I know we just talked about them a little bit ago, but
nah, they've got a new book coming. I wouldn't mind sitting and talking about it once the new book comes. It'll be good.
All right, everybody. Have a good week. Don't behave.
Bye.
Roll dice. Bye-bye.
Yeah.